Hey everyone, welcome to a deep dive into the Linux universe. I'm Abhisar and today we are starting something awesome for everyone. From those just stepping into tech to coders aiming to buff up their skills. This Linux full course is exactly what you need. We are setting the stage with Kali Linux, breaking down its basics and walking you through how to get it up and running on your machine. Next up, we'll explore the Linux file system architecture so you get how things fit together. So let's run down what we will cover in this full course. We begin with what is Kali Linux, followed by a step-by-step installation guide. We will decode the Linux file system so you will never lose track of your files. Then a side-by-side Linux versus Windows. Get ready to spot the winner. And after that, I will show you 50 Linux commands that are absolute game changer. Then speed run through the 20 Linux distros in just 13 minutes, followed by a quick tour of Linux Mint, perfect for desktop users. After that, we will dive into the top 10 Kali Linux hacking tools everyone should know, and wrapping it up with a clear breakdown of Kali NetHunter for those interested in network security. Every topic is designed to boost your skills with practical tasks and quizzes to make sure you are nailing the content. And you will hear from a few experts who live and breathe Linux. They've got the tips you won't want to miss.
Craving a career upgrade? Subscribe, like, and comment below. Dive into the link in the description to fast-track your ambitions. Whether you're making a switch or aiming higher, Simplilearn has your back.
And if you are an aspiring cybersecurity professional looking for online training and certification from prestigious universities and in collaboration with leading experts to enhance your credibility, then search no more. Simplilearn's postgraduate program in cybersecurity from MIT University in collaboration with EC-Council should be your right choice. This course is designed to accommodate a diverse range of learners, and this course requires just a bachelor's degree with a 50% average and no prior programming experience. For more details, use the link mentioned in the description box and pinned comment. And if these are the types of videos you would like to watch, then hit the subscribe button, like, and press on the bell icon to never miss on future content. So stay tuned with us until the end of this video and don't forget to register your opinion in the comment section below. So let's get started.
Hey everyone. It's no secret that the majority of our internet usage is at the risk of being hacked, be it via unsafe messaging applications or misconfigured operating systems. To counteract this void of digital security, penetration testing has become the norm when it comes to vulnerability assessment. Kali Linux is an operating system that has become a well-known weapon in this fight against hackers. A Linux distribution that is made specifically for penetration testers, Kali Linux has layers of features that we will be covering in today's lesson. Let's take a look at the topics to be covered in this video. We start by learning about Kali Linux and a basic explanation of its purpose. We take a look at the history of Kali Linux from the story of its origin to its current day exploits. Next, we learn a few distinct features of Kali that make it an attractive choice for penetration testers worldwide. Finally, we take a look at the multiple ways we can install Kali Linux to start our journey in the world of penetration testing. Let's start by learning about Kali Linux in general. Kali Linux, which is formerly known as Backtrack Linux, is an open source Linux distribution aimed at advanced penetration testing and security auditing. It contains several hundred tools that are targeted towards various information security tasks such as penetration testing, security research, computer forensics, and reverse engineering. Kali Linux is a multiple platform solution, accessible and freely available to information security professionals and hobbyists. Among all the Linux distributions, Kali Linux takes its roots from the Debian operating system. Debian has been a highly dependable and stable distribution for many years, providing a similarly strong foundation to the Kali desktop. While the operating system is capable of practically modifying every single part of our installation, the networking components of Kali become disabled by default. This is done to prevent any external factors from affecting the installation procedure, which may pose a risk in critical environments. Apart from boosting security, it allows a deeper element of control to the most enthusiastic of users. We did not get Kali Linux since the first day. How did it come into existence? Let's take a look at some of its history. Kali Linux is based on years of knowledge and experience in building penetration testing and operating systems. During all these project lifelines, there have been only a few different developers as the team has always been small. The first project was called WOPEX, which stands for White Hat NOPEX. As can be inferred from the name, it was based on the NOPEX operating system as its underlying OS. WOPEX had releases ranging from version 2.0 to 2.7. This made way for the next project, which was known as WAX, or the longhand being White Hat Slacks. The name change was because the base OS was changed from NOPEX to Slacks. WAX started at version 3 as a nod, it carrying on from WOPEX. There was a similar OS being produced at the same time, Auditor Security Collection, often being shortened to just Auditor, which was once again using NOPEX. Its efforts were combined with WAX to produce Backtrack. Backtrack was based on Slackware from version 1 to version 3, but switched to Ubuntu later on with version 4 to version 5. Using the experience gained from all of this, Kali Linux came after Backtrack in 2013. Kali started off using Debian stable as the engine under the hood before moving to Debian testing when Kali Linux became a rolling operating system. Now that we understand the history and the purpose of Kali Linux, let us learn a little more about its distinct features. The latest version of Kali comes with more than 600 penetration tools pre-installed. After reviewing every tool that was included in Backtrack, developers have eliminated a great number of tools that either simply did not work or which duplicated other tools that provided the same or similar functionality. The Kali Linux team is made up of a small group of individuals who are the only ones trusted to commit packages and interact with the repositories, all of which is done using multiple secure protocols. Restricting access of critical code bases to external assets greatly reduces the risk of source contamination, which can cause Kali Linux users worldwide a great deal of damage as a direct victim of cybercrime. Although penetration tools tend to be written in English, the developers have ensured that Kali includes true multilingual support, allowing more users to operate in their native language and locate the tools they need for the job. The more comfortable a user feels with the intricacies of the operating system, the easier it is to maintain a stronghold over the configuration and the device in general. Since ARM-based single-board systems like the Raspberry Pi are becoming more and more prevalent and inexpensive, the development team knew that Kali's ARM support would need to be as robust as they could manage with fully working installations. Kali Linux is available on a wide range of ARM devices and has ARM repositories integrated with the mainline distributions, so the tools for ARM are updated in conjunction with the rest of the distribution. All this information is necessary for users to determine if Kali Linux is the correct choice for them. If it is, what are the ways that they can go forward with this installation and start their penetration testing journey? The first way to use Kali Linux is by launching the distribution in the live USB mode. This can be achieved by downloading the installer image file or the ISO file from the Kali Linux website and flashing it to a USB drive with a capacity of at least 8 GB. Some people don't need to save their data permanently, and a live USB is the perfect solution for such cases. After the ISO image is flashed, the thumb drive can be used to boot a fully working installation of the operating system, with the caveat that any changes made to the OS in this mode are not written permanently. Some cases allow persistent usage in live USBs, but those require further configuration than normal situations. But what if the user wants to store data permanently in the installed OS? The best and the most reliable way to ensure this is the full-fledged hard disk installation. This will ensure the complete usage of the system's hardware capabilities and will take into account the updates and the configurations being made to the OS. This method is supposed to override any pre-existing operating system installed on the computer, be it Windows or any other variant of Linux. The next alternative route for installing Kali Linux would be to use virtualization software such as VMware or VirtualBox. The software will be installed as a separate application on an already existing OS, and Kali Linux can be run as an operating system in the same computer as a window. The hardware requirements will be completely customizable, starting with the allotted RAM to the virtual hard disk capacity. The usage of both a host and guest operating system like Kali Linux allows users a safe environment to learn while not putting their systems at risk. If you want to learn more about how one can go forward with this method, we have a dedicated video where Kali Linux is being installed on VMware while running on a Windows 10 operating system. You can find the link in the description box to get started with your very own virtual machine. The final way to install Kali Linux is by using a dual boot system. To put it in simple words, the Kali Linux OS will not be overwriting any pre-installed operating system on a machine, but will be installed alongside it. When a computer boots up, the user will get a choice to boot into either of these operating systems. Many people prefer to keep both the Windows and Kali Linux installed, so the distribution of work and recreational activities is also allotted effectively. It gives users a safety valve should their custom Linux installation run into any bugs that cannot be fixed from within the operating system. There are multiple ways to install Kali Linux. We can either install it on a normal hard drive, in a virtual machine software such as VMware or VirtualBox, or we can do that in hard bare metal machines. Now, for the convenience of explanation, we're going to install Kali Linux today on a virtual machine software known as VMware. VMware is able to run multiple operating systems on a single host machine, which in our case is a Windows 10 system. To get started with Kali Linux installation, we have to go to the website to download an image file. We go to Get Kali, and as you can see, there are multiple platforms on which this operating system can be inverted. As per our requirement, we're going to go with the virtual machine section. As you can see, it is already recommended by the developers. This is the download button, which will download a 64-bit ISO file. We can download 32-bit, but that is more necessary for hard metal machines, or if you're going to use it for older devices which do not support 64-bit operating systems yet. After clicking on the download button, we can see we have a WinRAR archive which will have the ISO files. For now, we have downloaded the ISO file and it is already present with me. So we can start working on the VMware side of things. Once the ISO file is downloaded, we open up VMware Workstation. We go to File and we create a new virtual machine. In these two options, it is highly recommended to go with the typical setup rather than the custom one. The custom is much more advanced and requires much more information from the user, which is beneficial for developers and people who are well versed with virtualization software, but for 90% of the cases, typical setup will be enough. Here, we can select the third option, which will be I will install the operating system later. In some operating systems, we can use the ISO file here directly and VMware will install it for us. But for right now, in the case of Kali Linux, the third option is always the safest. Kali Linux is a Linux distribution, so we can select Linux over here, and the version, as you can see here, have multiple versions such as the multiple kernels. Every distribution has a parent distribution. For example, Kali Linux has Debian, and there are other distributions which are based or forked from some parent distribution. Kali Linux is based off Debian, so we can go with the highest version of Debian, which is the Debian 10.x 64-bit. Go on next. We can write any such name. We can write Kali Linux so that it will be easier to recognize the virtual machine among this list of virtual machine instances. The location can be any location you decide to put. By default, it should be the documents folder, but anywhere you put, it will hold up all the information of the operating system, all the files you download, all the configurations you store, everything will be stored in this particular location that you provide. When we go next, we are asked about the disk capacity. This disk capacity will be all the storage that will be provided to your virtual machine of Kali Linux. Think of your Windows device. If you have a 1 terabyte of hard drive, you have the entirety of the hard disk to store data on. How much data you give here, you can only store up to that amount of data. Not to mention, some amount of capacity will be taken up by the operating system itself to store its programs and applications. For now, we can give around, let's say, 15 GB of information. Or if the recommended size for Debian is 20, you can just go ahead at 20. It depends all on the user case. If you are going to use it extensively, you can even go as high as 50 or 60 GB if you have plans to download many more applications and perform multiple different tests. Another option we get over here is storing virtual disks as a single file or storing them into multiple files. As we already know, this virtual machine runs entirely on VMware. Sometimes when transferring these virtual machine instances, let's say from a personal computer to a work computer, we're going to need to copy up the entire folder that we had mentioned before over here. Instead, all virtual machines have a portability feature. Now this portability feature is possible for all scenarios, except it is much easier if they split the virtual disk into multiple files. Now even if this makes porting virtual machines easier from either system to system or software to software, let's say if you want to switch from VMware to VirtualBox or vice versa, the performance takes a small hit. It's not huge, but it's recommended to go with storing the virtual disk as a single file if you have no purposes of ever moving the virtual machine. Even if you do, it's not a complete stop that it cannot be ported. It's just easier when using multiple files. But in order to get the best performance out of the virtual machine, we can store it as a single file over here. This is a summary of all the changes that we made and all the configurations that have been settled until now. Now at this point of time, we have not provided the .iso file yet, which is the installation file for the Kali Linux that we downloaded from this website. As of right now, we have only configured the settings of the virtual machine. So we can press on Finish. And we have Kali Linux in the list. Now, to make the changes further, we press on Edit Virtual Machine Settings. The memory is supposed to give the RAM of the virtual machine. The devices with RAM of 8 GB or below that, giving high amount of RAM will cause performance issues and the host system. If the memory has some amount of free storage left, let's say on idle storage, my Windows machine takes about 2 GB. So I have 6 GB of memory to provide. Although if you provide all of the 6 GB, it will be much more difficult for the host system to run everything properly. So for this instance, we can keep it as 2 GB of memory for the virtual machine instance. Similarly, we can use the number of processors and we can customize it according to our liking. Let's say if we want to use one processor, but we want to use 2 different cores, we can select them as well. Hard disk is pre-set up as the SCSI hard disk and it does not need to be changed for the installation of this operating system at all. CD/ID DVD. This is where the installation file comes. You can think of the ISO file that we downloaded as a pen drive or a USB thumb drive, which is necessary to install an operating system. To provide this, we're going to select Use ISO image file. We're going to click on Browse. Go to Downloads and select the ISO file over here. Select Open. And we can see it is already loaded up. Next, in the network adapter, it is recommended to use NAT. This helps the virtual machine to draw the internet from the host machine settings. If your host machine is connected to the internet, then the virtual machine is connected as well. There are some other options such as host only or custom segments or LAN segments, but those are not necessary for installation. Rest of them are pretty standard, which do not need any extra configuration and can be left as it is. Press OK. And now we can power on this virtual machine. In this screen, we can choose how we want to proceed with the installation. We have a Start Installer option over here. So we're going to press Enter on that. We're going to wait for the things to load from the ISO file. The first step in the installation is choosing the language of the operating system. For this, we can go with English as standard. This is a location. This will be used for setting up the time and some of the internal settings which depend entirely on the location of the user. So for this, we're going to go with India. Configuring the keyboard, it's always recommended to go with the American English first. Many people make a mistake of going with the Indian keyboard if it is possible, and it provides a lot of issues later on. So it's always preferred to go with the American English, and if later we see some necessity of another keyboard dialect that is required, we can install it later. But for now, we should always stick with American English as a basic. At this point, it's going to load the installation components from the .iso file. It is a big file of type 3.6 GB, so it has a lot of components that need to be put into the virtual machine, which can also be used to detect hardware. Once the hardware and the network configuration is done by the ISO file, we want to write a host name for the system. This host name can be anything which is used to recognize this device on a local network or a LAN cable. Let's say if we use the name Kali. Domain name, we can skip it for now. It's not necessary as such for the installation. This is the full name for the user. Let's say we can provide the name as Simplilearn as a full name. Next, we're going to set up a username. This username is going to be necessary to identify the user from its root accounts and the subsequent below accounts. For now, we can give it as something as simply123. Now we have to choose a password for the user. Now remember, since this is the first user that is being added onto this newly installed operating system, it needs to be a password for the administrator. We can use whichever password we like over here and use the same password below and press on continue. At this point, it's going to detect on the components on which the operating system can be installed. Like here, there are multiple options like the use entire disk and set up LVM, use entire disk and set up encrypted LVM. For newcomers, it is recommended to just use the first one, since LVM encryption is something that you can learn afterwards when you're much more hands-on with the Linux operating system. For now, we're going to use the use entire disk guided installation and press on continue. When we set up the virtual machine on VMware, we had set up a disk capacity. There we gave a purpose 20 GB. That is the hard disk which is being discovered here. Even though it is a virtual disk, on VMware it acts as a normal hard disk on which an operating system can be installed. So we select this one and press on continue. Here there is a multiple partition system. All the operating systems that are installed have different components. One is used for the keeping of the applications, one for the files, other for the RAM management and other things. For newcomers, it is always recommended to keep it in one partition. And we're going to select that and press on continue. This is just an overview of the partition it's going to make. As you can see, it has a primary partition of 20.4 GB and a logical partition of 1 GB used for swap memory. Now these kind of naming can be confusing for people who are not well versed with Linux operating systems or in general virtualization, but for now you can go ahead and press on continue, as this will be fine. We can press on finish partitioning and write changes to disk and continue. It's just a confirmation page. As you can see, it's wrote that SCSI3 is our virtual hard disk of 20 GB disk capacity. We write the changes to the disk, we press yes and click on continue. At this point, the installation has started. Now this installation will take a while depending on the amount of RAM provided, the processors provided, and how quickly the performance of the system is being hampered by the host machine. On quicker systems, this will be rather quick, while on the smaller ones, this will take a while. Since this is going to take some time to install, as it is being run on a virtual machine with only 2 GB of RAM, we're going to speed up this part of the video so we don't have to waste any more time just watching the progress bar. Now that our core installation is completed, it's asking us to configure a package manager. The work of a package manager on Linux operating systems is similar to the Google Play Store on Android mobile devices and on the App Store for the Apple devices. It's an interface to install external applications which are not installed by default. Let's say for Google Chrome or any other browser which can be used to browse the internet. At this point of time, it's asked us to select a network mirror. We're going to select as yes and move forward with this. Next, it's going to ask us for an HTTP proxy, which we can leave it as blank and press it as continue forward. At this point of time, it's looking for updates to the Kali Linux installation. This will fetch the new builds from the Kali server, so the installation is always updated to the latest version. Now that the package manager is configured, we have the grub bootloader. The grub is used for selecting the operating system while booting up. Its core functionality is to allow the operating system to be loaded correctly without any faults. So at this point of time, if it asks install the grub bootloader to your primary drive, we can select it as yes and press continue. Remember, the installation was conducted on dev SDA. So we're going to select installation of the grub loader on the same hard disk that we have configured. We press this one and press continue. So now the grub bootloader is being installed. The grub is highly essential because it shows the motherboard where to start the operating system from. Even if the operating system is installed correctly and all the files are in correct order, the absence of a bootloader will not be able to launch the OS properly. As you can see, the installation is finally complete. So now we can press on continue and it's going to finalize the changes. Now you can see Kali Linux being booted up straight away. It doesn't check for the ISO file anymore since the operating system is now installed onto the virtual hard disk storage that we had configured before. Here we're going to enter our username and password that we had set up before. And we have the Kali Linux system booted up. And this is your homepage. We can see the installed applications over here, which are being used for penetration testing by multiple security analysts worldwide. All of these come pre-installed with Kali Linux, and others can be installed using the apt package manager that we had configured. We can see our full name over here. And with this, our installation of the Kali Linux is complete.
So if you are looking to learn Kali Linux and get certified into ethical hacking, explore the wide range of cybersecurity and ethical hacking courses by Simplilearn. Find the course link in the description box.
Basics of Kali Linux. Let us take a look at the agenda for our demo today. We start out with a few terminal commands that are a basic part of a Linux operating system. We configure our own proxy chains to maintain anonymity while running penetration testing attacks on our victims. Next, we run a few Nmap scans on a local Windows 10 machine to find out the type of information that can be gathered in such a scenario. Moving on, we use Wireshark to monitor internet traffic and understand the importance of encryption and security when browsing the World Wide Web. Next, we learn about Metasploit and its various applications in the line of vulnerability assessment of a device. And finally, we use Metasploit to take root access of a fully updated Windows 10 computer system. Let's begin with some terminal basics on Kali Linux. When most people hear the term Linux, they envision a complex operating system used only by programmers. However, the experience is not as frightening as it appears. Linux is an umbrella term for a collection of free and open source Unix operating systems. There are many variants like Ubuntu, Fedora, Debian. These are distributions, which will be a more precise term. When using a Linux operating system, you will most likely utilize a shell, which is a command line interface that provides access to the operating system services. The majority of Linux distributions ship with a graphical user interface, also known as GUI, as their primary shell. This is done to facilitate user interaction in the first place. Having said that, a command line interface is suggested due to its increased power and effectiveness. By entering the commands into the CLI, tasks that require a multi-step GUI procedure may be completed in a matter of seconds. You can start the terminal by clicking on the prompt icon here on top. Once the terminal is opened, we can put up our commands. The first command that we are going to look into is pwd. pwd stands for present working directory. As of right now, what you are seeing is the terminal window by default. If I write pwd and press enter, this shows the directory in which the terminal is being run on. As of right now, it's in the nf folder of my desktop, which is specifically this folder. If I open up this folder, you can see it is currently empty, as in it has no contents. If I use another command known as mkdir, which is supposed to stand for make directory, and I write nf2, shortage for new folder 2. If I open up the nf, you can see the new folder is created. This is how the pwd command works. Another important command to change directories, it's called the cd command. Let's say right now if I am in nf, I want to create a new file in nf2 folder or something else in the nf2 folder. I have to shift to cd nf2. Now if I write pwd, it will show the present working directory of home, Simplilearn, desktop, nf, and inside that I am in nf2 right now. It is done to navigate through the Linux files and directories. It requires either the full path or just the name of the directory. If we have to move a completely different folder on a completely different file, then we can use the entire path like this. For now, cd works. Another few commands is we can write cd ... and it will come back one folder. Now the pwd will be just nf and not nf2. Let's say we are in this folder and we want to go a different file. Let's say if we just go for cd home, Simplilearn. That's it. Right now, these are the folders in our current present working directory. We have the desktop, the documents, downloads, etc. From here, we can again go to the desktop using the same cd command, cross-check the changing of directories, and check the files again. And yes, there we go, nf. How do we know this? What are the commands that are used to show the files and folders? That folder is known as the ls command. ls can be used to view the contents of a directory. By default, this command will display the contents of your current working directory. If we add some other parameters, we can find the contents of other directories as well. There are some hidden files as well in Linux which cannot be showed just with ls. For example, if we just go to cd etc, which is a configuration folder for Linux, if we write ls now, these are the files that can be seen. If we want to see the hidden files, we'll have to add one more parameter here like ls-a, and as you can see, the number of files have increased this time around. There are other things as well that we can see with Linux. ls-al will show the hidden files along with some of the parameters and some of the permissions that has been provided for each file. As you can see, many of these files have root access. Some of them can write, some of them can read. It differs file to file, and the ls-al command is used to check each of these files' permission and change them accordingly if needed. The next command that we can look for is the cat command or concatenate. It is one of the most frequently used commands, and it is used to list the contents of a file on the output. For example, let's say if I have a file at the desktop. In this nf2 folder, I will create a document, create an empty file, e5. I'll open up the document and I'll write it as hello Kali. I will save this up. Now, to change the directories from etc to nf2, we have already discussed how to use the cd command using just the folder name. Now, if we want to go to the entire directory, we can write cd home. As you can see, it is already prompting us to complete the name of the directory. At this point, we just have to press tab and it completes it for ourselves. Next, we already know we have to enter the desktop, nf and nf2. And this brings us to the current working directory. Here, if we press ls, we can find a file over here. Now, as discussed for the concatenate, it is used to show the contents of a file. So right now, if we press CAT, which stands for concatenate, e-file, as you can see, we have written hello Kali in the text file and we can see the output right now. We can also use it to create new files. For example, if we write cat, any file name such as efile2. Here we can write anything. Hello Kali again. Once we press Ctrl C here, we can check efile2 and we have hello Kali again printed over here. We can see the same using the concatenate command as well. If I press ls, you can see we have two files here and I can go with cat efile2 and I have hello Kali again. This is how the concatenate command works. Apart from this, it can be used to copy. There is a different command called cp, which is used to copy the files from one place to another. Mind you, this is not moving. This is only going to copy the command. For example, currently our pwd, which is the present working directory, is in the nf2 folder, as you can see over here. Let's copy the efile2 to the nf folder. We can write cp efile2 and give the path of the nf folder, which will be home, Simplilearn, desktop, and nf. Now if I press ls, I'll find both the files in nf2 since I copied. To go back to the nf folder again, we can again use the same command of we can again use the home, Simplilearn, desktop, and just nf. No nf2 this time, just nf. As you can see, this will change back our present working directory. Now when we press ls, we will find the efile2 file and the nf2 folder, and we can confirm this using the GUI as well. This is the nf folder and you can see the nf2 folder and the efile2 document. If I write cat efile2, we can see the contents of the file. Now this can be done using moving as well. For example, if I go to cd nf2, which is the inside folder, it has both the document files like e-file and e-file2. Let's say I want to move the e-file completely from nf2 to nf1. Instead of writing cp, the command I'm going to use is mv e-file, and again give the path of the folder into which I have to copy, which will be again home, Simplilearn, desktop, and nf. As you can see, the contents of the nf2 have appeared here and e-file has been moved from nf2 to nf. This is the nf2 and we don't find e-file here anymore. If we press cd ... and we go back to nf ls right now, and we can find both the files, e-file that we moved and e-file2 that we copied from the nf2 folder. So this is how copying and moving will work using the terminal. Now this is just a simple one-line statement that might take a couple of clicks when using GUI. This is why the command line interface is considered to be much more streamlined for Linux operating systems. Another very important command for Linux operating system is the sudo command. Sudo is short for super user do. The command enables you to perform tasks that require administrative or root permissions. You can think of it as how we run programs as administrator on Windows systems. It is not advisable to use this command for daily use because it might be easy for an error to occur, and the permissions of root are very intricate. So new beginners are advised to use the sudo command only when absolutely necessary. For example, sudo su. With this command, I am giving this terminal a root permission. This su stands for this user. At this point, it's going to ask for my admin password. Once I enter my password, and I now have root access. Note how the password that I entered did not show up here. This is a security measure to prevent people from snooping on your root password, which is the end game of all this operating system. As you also can see, the symbol changed. If the dollar symbol is showing, it shows as a standard user. When you switch to root, you can easily see a hash symbol. This opens up a separate shell inside this terminal command. For example, we can exit out of the root user to the standard user using the command exit. And once again, we have the $sign and the root has vanished over here. There are some commands that will only work with administrative access. For example, when updating the Kali Linux system, we have to use apt update. As you can see, it says problem unlinking the file because permission denied. Now, let's try this using sudo apt update. As you can see, it is updating the package repositories which work as the software installed on the system. This can be done using either writing the sudo command every time we want to perform a root access, or we can just write sudo su once and write apt update alone. The fetching is complete over here. For the second example, let's say I just write sudo su, and this time it's not going to ask me the password because at this current terminal process I've already provided the root password once and it is in memory right now. Now, when we used to update the system, we had to write sudo apt update. That was because we were running it as a standard user. Now we are running it as a root user. So all we have to write is apt update and it's going to continue its work. There you go. Another command that can be useful is the ping command. It's pretty self-explanatory. It's going to be checking the internet connectivity. It can be used to check internet connectivity, or you can see if there is a local server on your system which needs to be pinged, then you can check that. For example, if we have to write ping, and we can use either IP address or domain. Let's say if we want to check that if we can access google.com using this Kali Linux installation or not, we can write ping google.com. And you can see it shows the bytes being sent and received and how much time it took to take up the request. This can be done for local systems as well. For example, this installation of Kali Linux is being run on a virtual machine. Once this machine is running, I still have my host machine running over here, the IP address of which is 192.168.29.179. If I try to ping this from here, as you can see, the time to complete the request is drastically low compared to a website on the internet, considering this is on the local network. This is how the ping command is worked, and it can show you what kind of packages are transmitted, how many are received, if there was any kind of packet loss between the connection window, and other details. A very important command when working with the terminal for a long duration is the history command. Pretty self-explanatory. There are so many commands that are being run. Sometimes people forget what was the change they did or what was the directory name they put. A history command helps to recover some of the commands that you have written. It doesn't go all the way back, but it takes up many commands that were inputted in the last few processes. This is how the history command works. These are some of the most commonly used terminal commands. If you want to learn more about this terminal and every other feature of this, please let us know in the comment section and we'll try to make an in-depth tutorial, especially if you could repeat. If you want to learn more about the terminal, please let us know in the comment section and we will try to make an in-depth tutorial specifically for terminal commands on Linux. Moving on, we learn how to configure proxy chains on our system. Proxying refers to the technique of bouncing your internet traffic through multiple machines to hide the identity of the original machine. It is a good tool that hackers use to accomplish this goal is proxy chains. Essentially, you can use proxy chains to run any program to a proxy server. This will allow you to access internet from behind a restrictive firewall which hides your IP address. Proxy chains even allows you to use multiple proxies at once by chaining them together. One of the most important reasons that proxy chains is used in a security context is that it's easy to evade detection. Attackers often use proxies to hide their true identities while executing an attack. And when multiple proxies are chained together, it becomes harder and harder for a forensic professional to trace the traffic back to the original machine. When these proxies are located across countries, investigators would have to obtain warranties in the local jurisdictions where every proxy is located. To see how proxy chain works, let's open Firefox first and check our current IP address. Write Firefox, and there we go. As we can see, Firefox is now open. Let's check our current IP address right now. If we go to an address called myip.com, and you can see it easily detects our country is in India, and this is a public IP address. Now, if we move to the terminal again, here we can now write proxy chains -h. What this -h does is it finds a help. It stands for the help file. This is for help file. What we found out using this is proxy chains has a config file here, etc proxychains4.conf. This is the config file found. Using this config file, we can customize how our proxy chain should work. If we want to open that, we have to use it in a text editor. On Windows, we have Notepad and other things like that, Microsoft Word to edit documents. On Linux, we have a tool called Nano. To access the Nano, we use the command nano and give the path of the file that we want to check. As of right now, the proxy chains config file is located over here. So we're going to follow the path there. chains4.conf. And here we go. We see the config file. There are three basic types of proxy chaining here. We have a strict chain where all the proxy in the list will be used and they will be chained in order. We have a random chain where each connection made through proxy chains will be done by a random combo of proxies in the proxy list. And you have dynamic chain. It's the same as strict chain, but dead proxies are excluded from the chain. And here we can set up whichever type we want. To enable or disable a particular type, we use the hash symbol here. As you can see right now, all the lines have a hashtag symbol at the front, except this one, a dynamic chain. This is the current one being used. Let's say if I want to use a strict chain method, so I can add a hash value here and remove the hash here. At one point of time, any one of these 3-4 types should be enabled. Let's go for the dynamic chain. We can disable this strict chain by putting the hashtag in front and removing the dynamic chain. As you can see below, we have few commands to how to handle the nano text editor. This symbol is known as the control button on your keyboard. Now if we want to write out, which is synonymous to saving the file, it's supposed to go with Control O. So if I press Control O on my keyboard, it says file name to write, and we have to press enter here since we want to overwrite the proxy chains 4.conf file. We don't want to create a new file over here. So just press enter and we get a permission denied. This permission denied we're getting is because we have opened this using a standard user. etc is a system folder. To be able to make some changes, we have to use it using a sudo command. To exit this nano, we have to use the Control X command. We use Control X. We're going to clear, and this time we're going to use the sudo command. Sudo nano etc proxy chains 4.conf, and we have the same file open up again. Now this time if we want to make a change, let's say we're going to add a strict chain instead of a dynamic chain, we remove the hashtag from strict. We're going to use Control O for the save file option. We're going to press enter and it says wrote 160 lines. Again, if we want to reverse this change, we put the hashtag over here, enable dynamic chain, we press Control O, press enter, and it says wrote 160 lines. Now we can exit straight away using the Control X format. Right now we have not provided any file or a proxy chain. We can have proxy IP addresses from the internet, but we have to make sure that they are safe and they don't snoop on our data. When there is no proxy chains being provided personally, it's going to use the Tor network, but for that we have to start Tor. Tor is a service in Linux. To know more about this Tor, we can write sudo systemctl, which is used to know the status of services on the Linux operating system, and status of Tor. Systemctl, sorry, instead of stl, it should be systemctl status Tor. As you can see, it is a Tor service, anonymizing overlay network for TCP connections, and it's currently inactive. Now to start this up, we have to write sudo systemctl start Tor. Now if we repeat the same sudo systemctl status Tor, as you can see, it's active now. You can see the green logo over here. Okay. To integrate the Firefox and the browser, we can use the proxy chains command directly over here. We can write proxy chains. We can use Firefox to launch our web browser, and let's say if we want to visit google.com. We press enter and the Firefox window is launched, and it should open up google.com next. And there we go. If we go to myip.com once again, as you can see, we have a different IP address and the country is unknown as well. So this is how we can use proxy chains to anonymize internet usage when using Kali Linux. Next on our agenda is the ability to scan networks using Nmap. At its core, Nmap is a network scanning tool that uses IP packets to identify all the devices connected to a network. You can learn more about Nmap using their help file. As you can see, these are some of the parameters that can be used when scanning ports of a system. You can see the version and the URL of the service over here. The primary uses of Nmap can be broken into 3 core processes. First, the program gives you detailed information on every IP active on your network, and then each IP can then be scanned. Secondly, it can also be used to providing a lot of live hosts and open ports, as well as identifying the OS of every connected device. Thirdly, Nmap has also become a valuable tool for users looking to protect personal and business websites. Using Nmap to scan your own web server, particularly if you are hosting your website from home, is essentially simulating the process that a hacker would use to attack your site. Attacking your own site in this way is a powerful way of identifying security vulnerabilities. As we already discussed, the host Windows 10 machine on this system has an IP address of 192.168.29.179. If you want to test the OS scan of this system, we're going to first get the root permission over here. We use the sudo command, and now we are a root user. We're going to launch the command nmap -o, which is supposed to be an OS detection scan. The IP address we can use of the host system 192.168.29.179. In a legitimate penetration testing scenario, we can use the IP address of the vulnerable device over here. We are going to let it scan for a while, and it's going to give us some guesses on what can the OS be. As you can see, the scan is done, and it has shown some of the ports that are open. You can see the MSRPC port open, the HTTPS 443 port open, which is used to connect to the internet, and it has some aggressive OS guesses as well. For example, it thinks there's a 94% chance that it's going to be a Microsoft Windows XP Service Pack 3. That's partly because a lot of the Windows XP update packages are still prevalent on Windows. Now that the OS detection is confirmed, there are multiple more details that we can gather from Nmap. Let's go with the nmap -a command, which is supposed to capture as much data as possible. There is also a speed setting. You can call it a speed setting or a control setting of the -t. -t ranges from T0 to T1 to T2 all the way up to T5. This basically determines how aggressively the victim is being scanned. If you scan slowly, it will take more time to provide the results, but it will also give a less chance for the intrusion detection system on the vulnerable machine firewall to detect that someone is trying to penetrate the network. For now, if we want to go with somewhat of a high speed, we can go with the T4 and provide the same IP address of the local machine I am trying to attack. It's going to take a little bit of time since it's trying to capture a lot of information. As you can see, the results are now here. It launched a scan and took a few top ports that are most likely vulnerable from a Windows XP perspective, and it showed a few ports over here. It has not shown 991 filtered ports, which could not be attacked anyway since they were closed for outside access. It shows a few fingerprint settings like the connection policies and the port details. It shows an HTTP options, some other intricate details that can be used when you attacking its servers. It shows a VMware version that it's running and some few other ports over here. Apart from that, we also have the aggressive OS guesses over here, just like we did with the -O, and you can see this time it is showing Windows 7 as 98%. No exact OS matches, since if there was any exact OS matches, we could have seen 100% chances over here. This is a trace route. A trace route will be the time and the path a connection request takes from the source to the destination. For example, this request went from 192.168.72.2 to a destination address. Since this is a local machine, it took only a single step. On multiple occasions, if you're trying to access a remote system, it's going to be a number of trace routes when it jumps from firewall to firewall and router to router. This is how we can use Nmap to find information about a system and find some vulnerable ports we can access. Moving on, we have a tutorial on how to use Wireshark to sniff network traffic. To start using Wireshark, we're going to have to open the application first. Now, during installation of Wireshark, there is an option to enable if non-root users can be able to capture traffic or not. In my installation, I have disabled that, so I will be launching Wireshark when using the root user itself. Also, to capture data, we need an external Wi-Fi adapter. You can see it over here in the VM tab, removable devices, RE-Link 802.1 and WLAN. This is an external Wi-Fi adapter which is inserted into my USB system. You can see it over here. If I write iwconfig, this is the one, WLAN 0. This is absolutely necessary because we need to have a monitor mode required. We won't need it for sniffing data on Wireshark right now, but it's going to be necessary later on in this tutorial as well, as we will see. For now, we can just start up Wireshark by writing its name on the command line, and it should start the program. Here we go. Here it's going to check which of the adapters we want to use. For example, right now the ETH0, which is supposed to stand for Ethernet 0 port, you can see data is being transmitted up and down. We're going to select ETH0. And we have started capturing data. You can see this data request from the source to destination, from the time and which protocol it is following, everything we can see. And we can see the IPv4 flags here as well, as you can see over here. To capture internet traffic, we can try running Firefox. If we just write wikipedia.com, and you can see the number of requests increasing. Okay, this is a spelling mistake. Wikipedia. Here, you can see the application data of all these requests going up, and they're connected to a destination server of 102.166.224. Now, even if we check the transmission control protocol flags over here and so many more things, we cannot find anything beneficial. As you can see, the information over here is gibberish, which is supposed to be, since it's supposed to be encrypted. Now, this is possible due to this being an HTTPS website. Hence, you can see the log symbol over here, and connection is supposed to be secure. Now, what about HTTP ports? We have seen many people recommend to not visit HTTP ports. Repeat. We have seen many people recommend to not visit HTTP websites, and even if we have to visit, to not provide any critical information. For example, let's go to a random HTTP page over here. As you can see, this is saying connection is not secure, and this is an HTTP page and not HTTPS. Now, let's check for some of the information that is passing through this. This is a login form. Let's say I have a legitimate account over here. If I write my account name, and my password is supposed to be password 1234. I press login, and the password does not match because I do not have an account over here. But let's say I did, and I was logged in as expected. We can go to Wireshark. We can use filters over here. Now, all the requests that I am sending, it's a TCP request. So I can write a filter containing TCP contains whatever string if it is being passed. Let's say for the end username, I write my account name. So I can just write my account name over here and press enter to find a request over here. Now, as you can see, there are many flags over here. If we go to the HTML form URL encoded and open up some of its flags, as you can see, I can see my account name and Simplilearn password over here. This is the same details that I input on the website. Let's say I did have a legitimate account on this website. I would have logged in with no problems, but anyone who would be using Wireshark to sniff on the data can easily get my credentials from here. This is why it's recommended to not provide any information on HTTP pages. The security is not up to the mark, and always look for the log symbol when visiting any website or making any internet transactions or providing any information. This is how we can use Wireshark to detect transmission and sniff packet data that is being transferred to the network adapter. Next, we have to learn about what is Metasploit. The Metasploit project is a computer security project that provides information about security vulnerabilities and aids in penetration testing and IDS development. We can open up the terminal here. We're going to allow root access, and to open up Metasploit, the keyword is MSF console. It's going to take a little bit of time to start it up. Now the Metasploit console has been loaded. From here, we can decide what type of attack we want to launch and what kind of exploits we can launch against vulnerable targets. For example, like we had already discussed, I'm running this virtual machine on a Windows 10 host machine. So if I open the command prompt from my Windows 10 over here, if I need to check the IP address once, I go with ipconfig. Here you can see the IP address of this local machine. Moving on, if we have to attack that machine, let's say we want to see what kind of exploits are going to work over there. Now we already know that Windows has some common vulnerabilities. One of those vulnerabilities is the HTA server vulnerability. HTA is supposed to be a HTML application, but when passed the right payload, it can be used to open a backdoor into a system. To start off with the Metasploit and accessing such applications, we're going to use the command use exploit, and the name of the reverse HTA server is this: Windows MISC for miscellaneous HTA server. As you can see, it already found this one. Alright, now there are some options that we need to set for this exploit to go through. For example, you can see some of the options over here. There is the payload. The payload is supposed to be the malicious file that we are going to send on the HTML application, which allows us to give the backdoor. For example, right now the payload, which is the malicious file, is a Windows Meterpreter reverse TCP. Completely understandable. Now let's set the L host. L host and R host and SRV host should be the one where we are going to launch the attack from. For example, if we launched another tab of this console and we just press ifconfig, the IP address is 192.168.72.130. So we're going to set the L host as 192.168.72.130, and we're going to do the same thing with SRV host. We're going to set a port where we need to capture the backdoor access. Next, the payload has already been set. This payload will launch a backdoor and give us Meterpreter access to the system. Meterpreter can be considered as an upgrade of a normal command prompt shell. We will look into it once we get the access in the first place. Now that we have set the commands, we can press on exploit and press enter. Now you can see we have a URL over here. We're going to copy this URL . Once the URL is copied, we take it into the browser and paste it. This will ask us to download this file. Now, as per browser security settings, this file should be blocked by default. We can decide to keep it, and with the correct formulation of this malicious package, even the website browser antivirus softwares will not be able to detect good payloads. We're going to save this file and we're going to open it. Publisher could not be verified. If we press run and we go back to our Meterpreter access over here, you can see it has already captured a URL of an HT server and it is writing delivering payload. Just have to wait for a few seconds till the payload is delivered. It has sent this much amount of data. Meterpreter session 1 is opened and we should get the access soon. There we go. Now, to understand where is the session set, we can write sessions -i. As you can see, it has a Meterpreter over here. We're going to write sessions -i. The session ID is 1, so we're going to write 1. And we have the Meterpreter access. Now, to get a fair idea of the system, we're going to write sysinfo, and it's going to the computer name, the OS, architecture, all these things. We can write the help command to see what are the things that we can get out of the system. We can take screenshots, we can control the webcam and start a video chat. We can take a lot of things over here. There are other commands as well where we can change the file directory, like the cat command, cd command. There are so many things that work in the normal CMD which we can run on the Meterpreter as well. Now, if we want to access this command prompt of the system directly, we can go with this. We have to write shell, and there we go. We are in the downloads folder right now. To see if this is the same computer or not, we're going to write ipconfig. As you can see, it is our victim machine with 192.168.29.171. We can just press exit and we're back with the Meterpreter access. This is how we can use Meterpreter and Metasploit to gain access to a Windows 10 machine. Next, let's take a look at how we can get root access from a Windows 10 system. We just learned how we can get a Meterpreter access from a system. We can background this Meterpreter session by writing background and pressing enter. We can still see the sessions -i. It's still present over here. Now, these kind of access are not administrative access. These are the kind of backdoors that can be created for standard users. But to get a complete access of a system, including the program files, the Windows documents, we need to have root access or administrative access. To do that, we're going to use another exploit. Reminder that the meter session of the standard access is already present and we're not messing with it right now. We're going to set up another session, albeit with the same machine. That exploit name is use exploit Windows local bypass UAC event viewer. And there we go. Now, if we check the options that we can put in the system, we have to choose an exploit target. We need to put a session as well. Let's say we're going to use the session 1. This is the session that has the meter access with the standard user. It doesn't have the system user. We're going to write set session 1 and we're going to run exploit. Run a few commands and it opened a second meter session. As you can see, it is the session 2. If I write sysinfo, you can still see I'm not the system user right now. I'm still just a normal user. How can we check that? If you go to shell, I can still see user Shinabi downloads, all these things. If I press exit, go back to the meter. There is a command on meter get system. It attempts to elevate your privilege to that of the local system, which basically means you get promoted into root access. So if we write get system, and due to pipe impersonation, we now have the system root access. As you can see, now it has become x64 and we are the admin users. Now if I go to shell, I can easily go back, Windows, and I can easily access these things. This kind of control over the Windows folders and the program files folders, these kind of things are not possible if you are not an admin access or the command prompt has not been run with admin permissions. This is how we can use privilege escalation to get into an admin access system. We use the second exploit, which was the bypass UAC event viewer exploit, and essentially used it with the first session. As you can read here, Windows escalation UAC protection bypass. It was first disclosed on 2016, but it still works on some systems. This is how we can get root access on a Windows 10 installation.
Hello tech wizards and digital explorers. Welcome to a journey into the core of Linux, the operating system powering over 2.3% of desktop computers globally and a staggering 96.3% of the world's top 1 million servers. I am Abhisar and today we are delving into one of the most vital components of Linux, its file systems. Imagine a world where every piece of digital information is meticulously organized, where every byte of data has its own unique place. That world exists right inside your Linux machine. So buckle up as we dive deep into the intricate maze of Linux file systems, exploring how they work, why they are important, and what makes them so unique in the realm of operating systems. In the realm of Linux, file systems like ext4, XFS, and BTRFS aren't just names. They are sophisticated architectures that manage how billions of bytes of data are stored, accessed, and organized. These systems are the unsung heroes ensuring data integrity and efficiency in a digital world. Today we will uncover how these file systems support everything from your personal blogs to the largest data centers hosting petabytes of information. We will explore inodes, journaling, mounting, and more terms that might sound complex but are incredibly fascinating once you get to know them. And just a quick info for you, if you are an aspiring cybersecurity professional looking for online training and certifications from prestigious universities and in collaboration with leading experts to enhance your credibility, then search no more. Simplilearn's postgraduate program in cybersecurity from MIT University in collaboration with EC-Council should be your right choice. Through this course, you will gain knowledge and work-ready expertise in skills like advanced hacking concepts, network packet analysis, ethical hacking, network security, and over a dozen others. And that's not all. You also get the opportunity to work on multiple projects and learn from industry experts working in top-tier product and security companies and academicians from top universities. This course is designed to accommodate a diverse range of learners, and this course requires just a bachelor's degree with a 50% average and no prior programming experience and 1+ year of work experience is preferred. If you are passionate about making your career in this field, then make sure to check out the link in the pinned comment and description box to find a cybersecurity program that fits your experience and areas of interest. And now, Linux offers a diverse array of file systems, each tailored to specific requirements. And now, let's explore some prevalent Linux file systems. So starting with EX2. And then we have EX3, EXT4, XFS, BTRFS, ZFS, JFS, and then we have RiserFS. So now, starting with the first one, that is EXT2. So EXT2, Extended File System 2, that is one of the Linux earliest and most commonly used file systems. EXT2 has long been a default choice for many Linux distributions. It's known for its stability and suitability for small to medium-sized partitions, though it lacks a journaling feature, which can complicate file recovery post-crash. Now moving to the next file system, that is EXT3, Extended File System 3. Building on EXT2, EXT3 introduces journaling to track file system changes, reducing data loss risk after crashes. It's a popular choice for its stability, reliability, and performance. And now moving to the next, that is EXT4, Extended File System 4. As the evolution of EXT3, EXT4 addresses some of its predecessors' limitations. It supports larger files, quicker file system checks, and enhanced performance for larger disk. Features like journal checksumming also enhances data integrity. EXT4 is a default file system in many modern Linux distributions. Now moving to the next file system, that is XFS. So XFS, that is X file system, that is designed for large-scale storage, and XFS excels in performance and is suitable for file systems up to 16 exabytes. It's a top choice for large data centers, offering scalability, reliability, and featuring like journaling and file-level languages. Now, moving on to the next file system, that is BTRFS, B-tree file system. A newer Linux file system, BTRFS supports copy-on-write, snapshots, and subvolumes, allowing for multiple file systems within a single partition. It also includes RAID and compression support. BTRFS is still under development and isn't as commonly used as other file systems. Next we have is ZFS. ZFS, Zettabyte File System. Initially developed for Solaris, ZFS is a robust system with features like snapshots, data compression, deduplication, and built-in RAID. Renowned for its data integrity and self-healing capabilities, ZFS is not typically included in Linux distributions due to licensing but can be installed separately. Now moving to the next file system, that is JFS. JFS, Journaled File System, that is developed by IBM. JFS is known for its performance and reliability. It offers journaling, file-level compression, and online resizing, making it a strong choice for high-performance systems. And now, the next one, that is ResizerFS. So targeted at high-performance computing, ResizerFS includes features like journaling, file-level encryption, and support for larger files. While known for its speed and reliability, it's less common compared to other file systems listed here. Now moving to key Linux file system directories. So the Linux operating system's file management is predominantly handled through directories, commonly known as folders. These elements are crucial in the Linux file system, serving not just as file holders, but also as organizational tools. Imagine directories as virtual boxes, each capable of storing files and other directories. Directories in Linux play a vital role in providing an ordered, hierarchical framework for file arrangement. This hierarchy commences at the root directory, denoted as / and extends into various subdirectories. This approach allows for a logical and systematic organization of complex systems, enhancing the ease of file management and access. So key Linux file system directories. Each directory in the Linux file system serves a distinct purpose. Here are some of the significant directories. Starting with the number 1, that is root directory. So root directory is the highest level in the Linux file system hierarchy. All other directories and files are nested within this root. Now moving to the next directory, that is bin. Standing for binaries, this directory contains essential command line utilities and programs vital for basic system management. And then we have boot. So here lies the bootloader files and the kernel images necessary for system startup. And then we have dev. This directory hosts device files representing both physical like printers and disk and virtual devices like terminals. And then we have etc directory, that is home to system configuration files. These are utilized by various applications and services. And then we have home directory. It houses individual users' directories, providing personal space for file and setting storage. And then we have library directory. This directory stores shared library files needed by system programs. Next we have media directory, a mounting point for removable media such as USB drives, CDs and DVDs. And then we have MNT, that is mounting directory, that is used for temporarily mounting file systems like network file systems or disk images. Next we have OPD directory, a location for additional software packages that are not part of the standard system. And then we have standard bin directory, a directory for system binaries and administrative tools essential for system upkeep. And then we have user directory that contains user level programs, libraries, documentation and shared data files. So these were the directories in Linux file distribution system. And now here are the key concepts in file systems. Starting with journaling file system. So these systems maintain a log referred to as journal. This log records changes to files that are not yet permanently saved on the disk. This feature is particularly useful for recovering lost changes in the event of a system failure. And the next we have is versioning file systems. These systems preserve earlier versions of files. Essentially, they save file copies based on their previous states at specific intervals, offering a backup mechanism that could be based on minute or hourly updates. And next we have index nodes. An inode symbolizes a file or directory detailing attributes like size, permissions, ownership, and physical locations. And now we'll see the demo for the Linux file distribution system. So for that, we'll open the terminal with Ctrl-Alt-T. And now, first we'll see in which directory we currently are in. So we are in home, Abhisar Ahuja. So first we'll move to the root directory. For that, we'll write the command cd space /. So now we have moved to the root directory. And here we'll see what types of directories we have. We have bin, dev, boot, etc, opt, run, swap file. So now we'll move to the bin directory. So in bin directory, it contains binaries or essential executable files. So these are the binaries and executable files that we can use in the terminal only. So now, as I will show you, there's a bin and there's sbin also. This is sbin. So now we'll move to the sbin directory. For that, we'll write the command cd sbin. And here we see the directories of sbin. So what does sbin contain? It contains system binaries like mount or delete and the user that are used by the root user. So these binaries can be used by the root user only. And then we have other directories, that is library. So to move to the library directory, we'll write the command cdlib, and now we'll see its directories. So what does it contains? It stores common libraries between bin and sbin. So many directories are stored in the library directory only. So then we have another directory, that is user directory under the root only. So to move to that, we'll write cd user. So it says that, so first we'll move back to the root directory and then we'll move to the user directory. So it says that no such file or directory is present here. We'll just check. I think it's USR for user. Yeah, it's USR. So user directory is named as USR. We'll move to the user directory and to see the directories inside user. So these are the directories in user. So user has its own bin and sbin directory, and the binaries here are non-essential binaries. And there's a local directory under user. So it contains binaries that you can combine manually. So these are all the directories under root, and you can go to other directories also, as I have shown you the diagram of all the directories under user or under the root that I have shown in the previous thing, so you can check it out. So in conclusion, the Linux file system with its directory structure is a cornerstone of the operating system. It facilitates efficient data management while upholding system stability and security. Linux file system is characterized by its hierarchical tree-like structure with the root directory at its apex. Various file systems in Linux cater to different needs, each with its pros and cons. The Linux directory structure encompasses an array of directories, each designated for specific function like system binaries, boot files, device files, and user files. Hello tech enthusiast, welcome to our channel where we delve into the fascinating world of technology. Today we are tackling a topic that sparked endless debates in the tech community: Linux versus Windows. It's a showdown between the freedom of open source and the familiarity of a household name. Whether you are a seasoned programmer, a casual user, or somewhere in between, this comparison is for you. We will explore the intricacies, strengths, and quirks of each system. So sit back, grab your favorite snack, and let's dive into the world of operating systems. It's Linux versus Windows. The battle of the OS giants begins now. And before starting, just a quick info for you. If you are an aspiring cybersecurity professional looking for online training and certifications from prestigious universities and in collaboration with leading experts to enhance your credibility, then search no more. Simplilearn's postgraduate program in cybersecurity from MIT University in collaboration with EC-Council should be your right choice. Through our courses, you will gain knowledge and work-ready expertise in skills like advanced hacking concepts, network packet analysis, ethical hacking, network security, and over a dozen others. And that's not all. You also get the opportunity to work on multiple projects and learn from industry experts working in top-tier product and security companies and academicians from top universities. This course is designed to accommodate a diverse range of learners, and this course requires just a bachelor's degree with a 50% average, and no prior programming experience and 1+ year of work experience is preferred. If you are passionate about making your career in this field, then make sure to check out the link in the pinned comment and description box to find a cybersecurity program that fits your experience and areas of interest. Now moving back to our topic, that is Linux versus Windows. So Linux, an open source and complementary operating system, debuted in 1991 courtesy of Linus Torvalds while he was a student at the University of Helsinki. Drawing its foundation from the Unix system, Linux is acclaimed for its robust stability, enhanced security, and versatile adaptability. It's extensively utilized across various platforms, including servers, supercomputers, mobile devices, embedded systems, and desktop computers. On the other side, Microsoft is the architect behind the proprietary operating system Windows. Launched initially as Windows 1.0 in 1985, it served as a graphical overlay for the MS-DOS system. Over the years, Windows has evolved through numerous substantial updates. This operating system is prevalent across a broad spectrum of devices, encompassing personal computers, tablets, and other similar technologies, while Linux has established dominance in server and supercomputer applications. Windows enjoys widespread popularity in the personal computing realm. Windows is often lauded for its user-friendly interface, whereas Linux is celebrated for its formidable stability and security features. In the past few years, Linux has seen a surge in its adoption as a desktop operating system. This rise in popularity can be attributed primarily to the emergence of accessible and user-friendly versions like Ubuntu and Mint. Despite this, Windows continues to maintain its stronghold as the global preferred desktop operating system. Nevertheless, Linux is steadily carving out a significant niche for itself in the market. Now moving to the difference between Linux versus Windows. So starting with first, that is, Windows uses different data drives like C, D, E to store files and folders, and whereas Linux uses a tree-like a hierarchical file system. Linux files are ordered in a tree structure starting with the root directory, whereas in Windows, files are stored in folders on different data drives like C, D, or E. Now moving to the next difference, that is hard drives, CD-ROMs, printers are considered as devices, and whereas in Linux, peripherals like hard drives, CD-ROMs, printers are also considered files in Linux or Unix systems. Now moving to the next difference, that is there are 4 types of user account types in Windows, that is administrator, standard, child and guest. Whereas in Linux there are 3 types of user account types, regular, root and service account. Moving to the next difference. So Windows administrator user has all administrative privileges of computers, and in Linux root user is the super user and has all administrative privileges. And now moving to the next one. So in Windows you cannot have 2 files with the same name in the same folder, whereas in Linux you can have, that is the naming convention is case sensitive. The sample and the case uppercase sample are 2 different files in Linux or Unix operating system. And moving to the next difference, so in Windows my documents is default home directory, whereas in Linux for every user directory is created which is called his home directory. And talking about more, so Linux is an open source operating system, so user can change source code as per requirement, whereas Windows OS is a commercial operating system, so user doesn't have access to source code. And Linux is very well secure as it is easy to detect bugs and fix, whereas Windows has a huge user base, so it becomes a target of hackers to attack Windows system. And if we compare Windows file system versus Linux file system, Linux runs faster even with older hardware, whereas Windows are slower compared to Linux. And in Linux, as you can see, you can have 2 files with the same name, and in Linux you would find the system and program files in different directories, whereas in Windows, system and program files are usually saved in C drive. We are diving into 50 Linux commands that are absolute must-knows for anyone using this powerful operating system. So let's get started. Just a quick info for you. If you want to upskill yourself, master cybersecurity skills and land your dream job or grow in your career, then you must explore Simplilearn's cohort of various cybersecurity programs. Simplilearn offers various certification and postgraduate programs in collaboration with some of the world's leading universities like MIT, IIT Kanpur, EC-Council and many more. Through our courses, you will gain knowledge and work-ready expertise in skills like advanced hacking concepts, network packet analysis, ethical hacking, network security and over a dozen others. And that's not all. You also get the opportunity to work on multiple projects and learn from industry experts working in top-tier product and security companies and academicians from top universities. After completing these courses, thousands of learners have transitioned into a cybersecurity role as a fresher or move on to a higher paying job and profile. If you are passionate about making your career in this field, then make sure to check out the link in the pinned comment and description box to find a cybersecurity program that fits your experience and areas of interest. So now let's get started, and the first thing we have to do is open the terminal. So we'll just press Ctrl+Alt+T, and here's a terminal, and we'll get started with the commands now. So the first command we'll see here is ls. So what does ls do? It lists all the files and directories in the current directory. So as you can see, we are on the home screen only, so it has listed all them, that is desktop, documents, downloads, music, pictures, public, snap, templates and videos. As you could see, so this is the home screen and these are the directories that are listed in the home, and that this ls command has provided all the directories here. And I'm running the Ubuntu on the VirtualBox for your information. So if you have the Ubuntu installed on your system, so it's well and good. And I was using Windows, so I use the VirtualBox to install the Ubuntu, and here we are running all the commands. And if we use ls-al, so it will give all the hidden directories also, hidden stuff. So these are the hidden stuff that was there, so it has listed them also. So now moving on to the next command, that would be pwd. And what does the pwd command do? It prints the current working directory where we are working. So pwd, so we are at home, Abhisar Ahuja, so this is our current working directory. And now we'll see the next command, that is cd. And what does it does is change the directory. If you want to move to any directory, you can just write cd and the name of the directory, and we'll see which one will go to documents. we'll just write documents and press enter. So now we are in the documents directory, and with the command cd ... we'll jump back to the previous directory, that is cd space ... now you have been redirected to the previous directory, that is home only. And if you want to just get back to home, you can just write cd space and click on, you'll get back to the home, as we are already on the home, so we have not changed any directory. And the next command would be mkdir, that is to create a new directory. So for that we'll just write mkdir and the name of the new directory what you want to create. So I will create the new directory with the name Abhisar. So we have created the new directory. You can check here that Abhisar that has been created. And if you want to remove that directory, you just have to use the command rmdir space Abhisar and press enter, and that directory would be removed from there. That has been removed. And now we'll see the command to create a file, and this is the easiest way to create any file. So we'll just use the touch command, that is to create a file, and after touch you just have to write the name of the file. So I'll write abhisar.txt. so we'll see, so the txt file has been created here. So here we have cleared the terminal, and now we'll see another command to create a file, that is cat. So just write cat greater than symbol and the name of the file, that would be abhisar2.txt. okay, and press enter. And now you can write the content you want to insert in this file. So I'll write my name is Abhisar and today I am creating a video on Linux. Okay, and after writing this you just have to press Ctrl and D. So this will be inserted into your file. So after pressing the Ctrl plus D, this content has been inserted, so we can just check it. You can see here that the content is already been inserted in the file. Okay, so moving back, now we'll see the next command, that is echo. And echo is mainly used to get something to display in the terminal only, or you just want to talk to yourself, you can use the echo command. So here I will write echo in inverted commas, I will write Simplilearn and press enter. You could see that it has returned Simplilearn, so it gets back the text or anything you want to display on the terminal only. And now we will see another command, that is cp, and that is used to copy files or directories. So here we'll use the command cp, and here we'll copy a file, that is abhisar2.txt into documents. So for that we'll write cp, after that the name of the file, that is abhisar2.txt, and then the folder name, that was documents, and then enter. Now we'll check in the documents, we have the abhisar2.txt file, and that has been copied into that. And the next command is mv. So if you want to move any file into any directory, you just write mv, and we have the file, that is abhisar.txt. This file we will also move into documents. So we'll just write the name of the file, that is abhisar.txt and .txt, and the name of the directory in which you want to move it. So that is documents / and then enter. And now we'll check it. So you can see that it has been moved. So it has been moved from home to documents. And now we'll see another command, that is rm, that is to remove any file or directories. So from the documents only we'll remove the file abhisar2.txt. okay, so here we'll write rm abhisar2.txt, and from where you want to remove it, that is documents. Okay, It's a directory. Okay, so we'll just write this command. We are in the home, so first we'll move to documents, cd documents, and here we will remove the file, that is rmabisar2.txt, and now if we see, that has been removed from here. And now we'll see another command, that is nano, and that is also used to create a file, or if you have the exact file, what file name you will enter here, if it's there it will open that, or else it will create a new file. So we'll write abisar3.txt, enter, and here you can directly edit the file, or you could just write the file. So you could edit it here and write anything, that is we are learning Linux, and to save it we'll just press Ctrl X, Y, and then enter. So it has been saved. We are learning Linux. So this is also the mode to create a file, and you would just go with the editor directly and you could just enter in the file, and then to save it you just have to press Ctrl X, Y, and enter. And now the next command, that is shred command. If you want to hide something, or you don't want to show any content in a file to anyone, so you will just write or use the shred command, that is shred, and after that file name, that is file name abisar3.txt, and press enter, and we'll use cat to open that, that is abisar3.txt, and press enter. You can see that it won't show any content to anyone. So after that we'll see another command, that is htop, and what does it do is it's not found here and it's not installed. So if you want to install it, you could just write this command, that is sudo install htop, and press enter, and now it's asking for password. And now moving on to the next command, we'll create another window for that, close these windows, close this terminal, and in this terminal we'll use the command less, and this command is used to view the contents interactively of the file. So we'll use less and see the contents of abisar.txt, press enter. So you could see that the contents are I am Abisar, and you could see that the content is I am Abisar. And now we will see another command, and for that we'll create a new window and close the previous terminals, and in the new terminal we'll use the grep command, that is used to search for specific patterns or words within the files. So grep and then the special term, that is Abisar, will search, and then the file name, that is abisar.txt, and press enter. So it will return the full sentence in which that pattern is found, that is I am Abisar, and you could see in the file that we have Abisar text, and that is in the line I am Abisar, and it has returned us that. And when we go to the next command, we'll use the find command, and with the find command you could search for various files or directories based on a given criteria. So we will find the abisar.txt file here, and it has returned that we are in the documents only, and it has returned the abisar.txt file. So this was about the find command. And moving on to the next command, that is to change file access permissions, and that command is chmod. So missing operand, so we have to add the operand also, that is chmod, and we will write 755 and the name of the file, that is abhisar.txt, and press enter. So the permissions of the file have been changed here. And what does this indicate? So we have set the file permissions of abhisar.txt file to read, write and execute for the owner, and read and execute for others here. And if you want to change the ownership of the file, we will cut यहाँ पे. And now moving to the next terminal, and here we will use the command gzip, that is to compress the files. So gzip and then the name of the file, that is abhisar.txt, and press enter. So it has been compressed, you could see that it has been compressed. And to uncompress or decompress the compressed files, we'll just write the command gunzip and then the name of the file, that is abhisar.txt, and it has been compressed, so the extension has been changed .gz, and now if you see that has been decompressed. So now we will use another command, and now we will see another command, that is date. So we'll just write date, and you could see that the date has been printed. And then we have command who am I, and it will just showcase the current username, that is Abhisar Ahuja. And the next command is which, and that is to locate a program or command in the system path. You could just write history to get all the commands that you have executed in today's terminal. And there's another command, that is uptime. So what does it indicate? Is it displays system uptime and load average. So system has been up from which time or how much time, so that is uptime. And then there is another command, that is df, that is to display disk space usage. And then we have another command du, that is to display disk usage by file or directory. So this directory has been using 12 memories. And the next command is uname. So uname is used to check the complete OS information of the system. So we are using Linux here, so it has provided Linux over here. And now moving on to the next command, that is clear command. If we use the clear command, so all the things in the terminal would be cleared. So the next command is man command. The man command displays a user manual for any commands or utilities available in the terminal. So we'll just write man ls, and so these are the commands that are present in the terminal, including their name, description and options. And now moving on to the next command, that is we will use the wget command to help me download the files from the internet. So for that, if I want to download a YouTube video, just open the Firefox browser. So we'll just copy the URL from here and get back to a terminal and use the command wget and paste the URL here and press enter. So you could see that it has downloaded the file for us. And there's another, and we will open a new terminal for the command, that is shutdown command. And for that you just route repeat. For that you will just write shutdown space and now and press enter, and the system will be shut down now only. Or you could just write shutdown and the exact time at which time you want to shut down the system, so it will shut down at that point. So these were the commands for the Linux.
Today we will dive into the vast and varied world of Linux, a digital playground where unique versions known as distros offered a tailored computing experience. Picture DSL, a compact powerhouse at just 50 MB, bringing old computers back to life. Marvel at tiny core Linux incredible 10 MB size, proving that great things come in small packages. Transition smoothly from Windows with the intuitive Zorin OS, or embrace the future with Chrome OS, a portal to cloud-based living. For creatives, MusicX, GNU plus Linux is a symphony of multimedia tools. Each distro is a unique pathway, offering customization, power, and community support. We have a flavor of Linux to match your taste. And before commencing, just a quick info for you. If you are an aspiring cybersecurity professional looking for online training and certifications from prestigious universities and in collaboration with leading experts to enhance your credibility, then search no more. Simplilearn's postgraduate program in cybersecurity from MIT University in collaboration with EC-Council should be your right choice. Through our courses, you will gain knowledge and work-ready expertise in skills like advanced hacking concepts, network packet analysis, ethical hacking, network security, and over a dozen others. The course is designed to accommodate a diverse range of learners and requires just a bachelor's degree with a 50% average. And you require no programming experience, and 1+ year of work experience is preferred. If you are passionate about making your career in this field, then make sure to check out the link in the pinned comment and description box below. Now we are about to take a deep dive into the world of open source operating systems, where diversity is key and customization is limitless. Each distro we will discuss offers its own unique blend of features, usability, and community. So let's get started, and we'll start with the first one, that is Ubuntu. So Ubuntu is a Debian-based Linux operating system that is designed for desktops, servers, and increasingly for cloud and IoT devices. It's known for its user-friendliness, robustness, and strong community support. Ubuntu offers a secure, intuitive, and feature-rich experience with a focus on accessibility and internationalization. It provides regular releases and a predictable update schedule, and is often chosen for its balance between cutting-edge technology and stability. So this was about the number 1 distro. Now moving to the next, that is Red Hat Enterprise Linux. And before moving to Red Hat Enterprise Linux, we will have a screenshot of the operating system here, and you could see how the UI of Ubuntu looks like. Now moving to the next, that is Red Hat Enterprise Linux. So RHEL, it's a commercial Linux distribution designed for enterprise environments. It's known for its stability, security, and support. RHEL provides long-term support, certified ecosystems, and subscription-based access to updates and support services. It's widely used in hosting, cloud computing, and as a reliable platform for critical applications. So moving to the UI UX of the Red Hat Enterprise Linux. So this is the screenshot for that, and now we will move to the next distro, that is Debian. So Debian is a free and open source operating system known for its stability, reliability, and vast package repositories. It's governed by a community of developers and users and prioritize adherence to free software guidelines. Debian is a versatile, supporting a wide range of hardware and suitable for desktops, servers, and embedded systems. Now moving to the next Linux distro, that is SUSE Linux Enterprise. So SUSE is a commercial distribution focusing on enterprise needs, offering a robust, scalable, and secure platform. It provides comprehensive support, updates, and a management system designed for complex deployments. SUSE is known for its YAST configuration tool, making system management more accessible. Now we'll see the UI UX for this Linux distro. So this is the present Linux distro UI UX. Now moving to the next, that is Linux Mint. So Linux Mint is a Ubuntu-based distribution known for its ease of use and out-of-the-box experience. It provides full multimedia support, a variety of desktop environments, and a focus on user-friendliness. Linux Mint aims to be a modern, elegant, and comfortable OS, which is both powerful and easy to use. Now moving to the next distro, that is Slackware. So Slackware is one of the oldest distributions, known for its simplicity and minimalism. It follows a philosophy of keeping it simple and as Unix-like as possible. Slackware offers no formal package dependency resolution, appealing to users who prefer manual system configuration and understanding the inner workings of their OS. Now we'll see the UI UX. So this is the current UI UX of Slackware Linux distro. Now moving to the next, that is Gentoo. So Gentoo is a source-based distribution, meaning the user compiles the source code locally according to their preference. Known for its flexibility and performance optimizations, Gentoo provides a unique system called Portage, which makes it easy to manage packages, dependencies, and system updates. Now we'll see the current UI UX for the Gentoo Linux distro. So this is the current UI UX. If you will install it and see the home page, this will be the same. So now moving to the next distro, that is Arch Linux. So Arch Linux is a rolling release system focused on simplicity, modernity, pragmatism, user centrality, and versatility. It's known for its minimalistic approach where users only install what they need. Arch provides a vast amount of up-to-date software and is backed by strong community documentation. Now moving to the next Linux distro, that is Fedora. So Fedora is a cutting-edge community-supported distribution backed by Red Hat. It's known for its commitment to open source software and its role as a testing ground for features that make it to RHEL. Fedora emphasizes innovation, features the latest software, and offers various spins tailored to specific use cases. And now moving to the next Linux distro, that is OpenSUSE. So OpenSUSE offers a stable and feature-rich platform for both desktops and servers. It's known for its user-friendly configuration tool, Jest, and its two flavors, Leap Stability Focused and Tumbleweed Rolling Release. OpenSUSE provides an excellent platform for developers, system administrators, and desktop users. So you can see the UI UX for the OpenSUSE Linux distro on the screen. Now moving to the next one, that is Kubuntu. Kubuntu is an official flavor of Ubuntu using the KDE Plasma desktop instead of GNOME. It's known for a user-friendly experience and a beautiful graphical interface. KDE Plasma offers customization and a wide range of applications and a more Windows-like feel. Kubuntu aims to be a versatile and elegant OS, suitable for both newcomers and experienced users. Now, we'll see the UI UX for the same Linux distro, and it's on the screen. Now moving to the next, that is Lubuntu. Lubuntu is a lightweight version of Ubuntu using the LXQT desktop environment. It's designed for older computers or systems with limited resources. Despite its minimalistic approach, Lubuntu is fully functional and user-friendly, offering a simple and fast computing experience with low hardware requirements. And this is the UI UX for the Linux distro Lubuntu. Now moving to the next, that is Xubuntu. So Xubuntu is an Ubuntu variant using the XFCE desktop environment. It strikes a balance between functionality and resource efficiency. XFCE provides a stable, light, and configurable desktop environment, making Xubuntu suitable for older computers while still offering a modern look and feel. It's a great choice for those who prefer a minimalist yet fully functional desktop. And moving on, we'll see the UI UX for the Linux distro Xubuntu. And the next on the list is Edubuntu. Edubuntu was an official derivative of Ubuntu designed for educational institutions. It aimed to provide a free, open source platform that included educational tools for students and teachers. While no longer actively developed, it offered a range of applications tailored for classrooms, making it easy to deploy in educational settings. Now we can see the UI UX for the Linux distro Edubuntu, and this is for the educational institutions. Now moving to the next, that is EasyPeasy. So EasyPeasy was a Linux distribution based on Ubuntu for notebooks. It aimed to be lightweight with a focus on ease of use and functionality for mobile computing. It featured a custom user interface and pre-installed applications optimized for netbooks, emphasizing web-based applications and services. And now you can see the UI UX for the same. Now moving to the next Linux distro, that is Zential. Zential is a server OS based on Ubuntu, designed to manage Office servers and network services. It's an easy-to-use Linux alternative for Windows Server, offering features like a domain and directory server, mail server, and gateway. Zential aims to simplify network management with a user-friendly interface and modular design. And now on the screen you can see the UI UX for the Linux distro Zential. And now moving to the next, that is GNU-Sans. So GNU-Sans is a Debian-based Linux distribution that focuses on free software. It's endorsed by the Free Software Foundation. GNU-Sans removes non-free firmware and software from Debian to comply with strict free software guidelines, offering a completely open source operating system for users who prioritize freedom. Now, moving to the UI UX for the Linux distro, GNU-Sense. And the next on the list is Pinguy OS. So Pinguy OS is an Ubuntu-based distribution designed to be user-friendly and full of out-of-the-box functionality. It includes many pre-installed applications and tweaks, focusing on user experience and ease of use. It's tailored for new Linux users and those who want a system that just works. Now we can see the present UI UX of the home screen of the Pinguy OS Linux distro. Now moving to the next on the list, that is Bodhi Linux. So Bodhi Linux is an Ubuntu-based distribution using the Moksha desktop. It's known for its minimalistic approach and high customizability. Bodhi is designed for users who want to tailor their system to their preferences. It's lightweight, resource efficient, and suitable for older hardware. And now on the screen you can see the UI UX for Bodhi Linux. Now moving to the Zorin OS and the last OS on our list. So Zorin OS is designed to be easy for newcomers transitioning from Windows. It features a Windows-like GUI and the ability to run many Windows programs via Wine. It's versatile with several editions tailored to different users, including an educational version. Now we'll see the UI UX for the Zorin OS. So this is the current UI UX of the homepage of Zorin OS. Welcome to the vibrant world of Linux Mint, where innovation and accessibility blend seamlessly. As we delve into this operating system, it's intriguing to note that Linux Mint has been rapidly climbing the ranks in the world of open source software. Did you know that as of 2023, Linux Mint holds a significant share in the Linux desktop market, standing out amongst hundreds of distributions? It's not just its user-friendly interface that's catching eyes. Statistics show a consistent increase in downloads, with millions of users worldwide embracing its refreshing simplicity and robust performance. Linux Mint, a brainchild born from robust Ubuntu, is celebrated for its elegance and efficiency. It is particularly favored by those transitioning from other operating systems, owing to its similar layout and intuitive design. This OS isn't just about its look. Performance metrics reveal a lightweight yet powerful system, capable of reviving older hardware and providing a smooth experience on the latest machines. As we explore Linux Mint, we will uncover why it has become a top choice for both novice and tech professionals. From its customization capabilities to its community-driven development, Linux Mint isn't just an operating system. It's a movement towards a more accessible, reliable, and user-centric computing future. So let's embark on this minty journey and unwrap the many layers of this innovative and peppermint-powered OS. And before commencing, just a quick info for you. If you are an aspiring cybersecurity professional looking for online training and certifications from prestigious universities and in collaboration with leading experts to enhance your credibility, then search no more. Simplilearn's postgraduate program in cybersecurity from MIT University in collaboration with EC-Council should be your right choice. Through our courses, you will gain knowledge and work-ready expertise in skills like advanced hacking concepts, network packet analysis, ethical hacking, network security, and over a dozen others. And that's not all. You also get the opportunity to work on multiple projects and learn from industry experts working in top-tier product and security companies and academicians from top universities. This course is designed to accommodate a diverse range of learners. And this course requires just a bachelor's degree with a 50% of average and no prior programming experience is required. And 1+ year of work experience is preferred. If you are passionate about making your career in this field, then make sure to check out the link in the pinned comment and description box to find a cybersecurity program that will fit your experience and area of interest. So now moving on to the demo part. And here first we will see the Linux Mint website. And do you know that Linux Mint has 3 versions? So first we'll click on download, and here you can see the first version is Cinnamon Edition, and then Mate Edition and XFCE Edition. So Cinnamon Edition is the popular version of Linux Mint and is primarily developed for and by Linux Mint only. Like, it is sleek, beautiful, and full of features. It has many features, and we'll have a demo session for that only, where we'll see the features of Cinnamon version. And then we have the Matte Edition, that is for stable, robust, and traditional purposes. And then we have XFCE version, that is extremely stable and very light on resource usage. So I have installed the Cinnamon Edition, and that too on the Oracle VirtualBox. So if you want to install it, You can either boot a pen drive and install it as your main operating system, as I was running Windows, and for this demo I have installed this, so I have installed it on the virtual box. So here we'll start with the demo for the Cinnamon edition. So the first thing we'll go for is preferences and the display option. So here in the display option, you can set the resolution for your Cinnamon edition Linux Mint, like which resolution you want. So I will set this, and if you want the rotation for your display screen, you can do that. So this was one of the feature. And moving on, in preferences only, we have one more, that is, we'll see what we have. Yeah, we have accessibility also. So in accessibility, you could either do the large text or the smaller text. You could do for the high contrast, enable zoom. You could move to keyboard and use visual indicator on caps and numlock. So these are the things you could do. And yeah, like there was text size increase or the enhancement option, we can also do with the font selection. For that, we'll go preferences. In preferences only, there would be one font selection one. Yeah, here you could just select the default font also, which font you want and the size of the default font. So you could select that. For the desktop font, document font, monospace, window title, and the text scaling factor. So we could enlarge it according to your requirements. And now moving to other options in preferences only, we'll see. So we have mouse and touchpad. So in mouse and touchpad, you could just adjust the pointer size. You could see the pointer size here, pointer speed, pointer size, and accordingly we have other options. If you have operated on any of the operating system, you would easily have a catch on it. So I will show you where all the settings and all the things you could get on. So in preferences only, or we could just customize this panel. We can just right click on it and go to panel settings, and you could see the font size for the left zone. So this is the left zone. Allow them to determine font size and scale to, or we can just increase the icon size here. Or if we go to the right zone, so the icon size will increase for these, as you can see. So this is how you could access all these. And if you want to change the desktop background, you could easily do it. You just have to right click it and click on change desktop background, and you could have any pictures you want. As I have the default ones, I will use this one. So you could see that the desktop has been changed. And now yeah, I want to tell you that these settings would be changed after you reboot the system. So all the settings will be lost. So now we will go to accessories, and if you want any app on the this navigation bar or on the desktop, you could just right click on that app and add to panel. So you could see here it has been added to panel, and you could also unpin from panel also. We have unpinned it. And in accessories, like calculator only, if you want it on desktop, you could add it on desktop. So it's on desktop now. So similarly, you could add any app here. And now if you want to configure menu, just right click on the menu and there's a configure option, and here you could configure it. If you want to increase the size in the menu, you could do that. If you want to change any text or add any text, you could do that. And if you want to use any menu animation, you can do that. So these are the features of Linux Mint. And if you want to capture snapshot, then you will go to administrator, and then there's an option with time shift, and it will require a password. So for that we will enter the password. So you could create any snapshot here, and you could have recurrent ones also using the wizard option. And now we'll see the driver manager, and that's also in the administrator section. So driver manager, so it will show you what are the drivers installed on your system. So it shows that no drivers needed. Your computer does not need any additional drivers.
In the current landscape of cybersecurity, the tools wielded by professionals are crucial in defining the balance between safeguarding digital assets and exposing vulnerabilities. Kali Linux stands at the vanguard of this digital battleground, offering an arsenal of tools designed for ethical hacking, penetration testing, and security auditing. The exploration delves into the top 10 most known hacking tools in Kali Linux, serving not just an introduction to the capabilities within Kali Linux, but also as a testament to the ethical use and profound impact of these tools in real-world scenarios. From uncovering unsecured network ports with Nmap to cracking complex passwords with John the Ripper, each tool in Kali Linux embodies a specific facet of cybersecurity. They enable professionals to anticipate and mitigate potential threats, ensuring the digital fortitude of systems against the relentless advances of cyber adversaries. Through real case studies and scenarios, this narrative not only highlights the practical applications of these tools, but also emphasizes the ethical considerations inherent in their use as we navigate the complexities of the digital age. Understanding and leveraging the power of Kali Linux tools become imperative for anyone involved in the cybersecurity domain, marking a fine line between defense and exploitation in the vast cybersecurity landscape. And before commencing, just a quick info for you guys.
Craving a career upgrade? Subscribe, like, and comment below. Dive into the link in the description to fast-track your ambitions. Whether you're making a switch or aiming higher, Simplilearn has your back.
If you are an aspiring cybersecurity professional looking for online training and certification from prestigious universities and in collaboration with leading experts to enhance your credibility, then search no more. Simplilearn's postgraduate program in cybersecurity from MIT University in collaboration with EC-Council should be your right choice. For more details, use the link mentioned in the description box and pinned comment. And if these are the types of videos you would like to watch, then hit the subscribe button, like, and press on the bell icon to never miss on future content. So stay tuned with us until the end of this video, and don't forget to register your opinion in the comment section below. So let's get started. So let's first know the evolving cybersecurity landscape. As we step into 2024, the cybersecurity landscape continues to evolve at an unprecedented pace. What does this mean for professionals and enthusiasts alike in the field of cybersecurity? Let's dive in. In recent years, we have witnessed a significant transformation in the types of cyber threats, from sophisticated ransomware attacks crippling major infrastructure to AI-driven phishing schemes. The complexity and scale of attacks are escalating. One of the key drivers of this change is the ever-expanding digital footprint of businesses and individuals. With more devices connected to the internet than ever before, the attack surface for cyber threats has broadened, making cybersecurity a critical concern. Another critical aspect is advancement in technology itself. The emergence of technologies like artificial intelligence, machine learning, and quantum computing has given both defenders and attackers new tools. This arms race between cybersecurity professionals and cybercriminals in constantly reshaping the battlefield. Amidst these challenges, there's a silver lining. The field of cybersecurity is innovating rapidly, and today we'll show the top hacking tools to be known for the Kali Linux. So let's start with the brief introduction of Kali Linux. So Kali Linux is a Debian-based Linux distribution that is designed for digital forensics and penetration testing. So now we'll see the concise background for the Kali Linux. So first we'll see the origins and development. So it is developed by Offensive Security. Kali Linux launched on March 13, 2013 as a rebuild of Backtrack Linux, fully adhering to Debian standards. Now if we talk about the core features, so the first is comprehensive tool set. It offers an extensive array of tools for penetration testing, security research, computer forensics, and reverse engineering. And it is open source, freely available and open source, enabling customization to meet specific user needs. And then we have the regular updates. It receives frequent updates for tools and features, incorporating security enhancements and new functionalities. And if we talk about security and ethical hacking,
So ethical hacking emphasizes, that is, advocates for ethical hacking practices using tools to find and fix vulnerabilities. And then we have the legal framework. So intended for legal and ethical use, including penetration testing with permission, security audits, and educational purposes. And then we have the community and support for Kali Linux. So there's a vibrant community that features a dynamic community of users who contribute through forums, tutorials, and shared experiences. And then we have the documentation and training. So extensive documentation and training resources are available from offensive security, supporting users in maximizing their proficiency with Kali Linux. And now we talk about use cases. So there's a professional use that is utilized by cybersecurity professionals for penetration testing, security audits, and forensic investigations. And we have the educational use also, that is employed in educational settings to teach students about information security and ethical hacking. So guys, let's move to the top 10 most known hacking tools in Kali Linux. And first we'll start with the Metasploit framework. So Metasploit framework, that is developed by Rapid7, is a robust platform for developing, testing, and executing exploits. It includes an extensive database of ready-to-use exploits and allows for crafting of custom payloads. So it features a modular architecture, enabling the creation of custom modules and scripts. It offers interfaces ranging from command line to GUI, Armitage, catering to both beginners and advanced users. And it provides tools for post-exploitation activities, evasion techniques, and botnet management, regularly updated with contributions from a global community of cybersecurity professionals. So this is the Metasploit framework. Now we talk about practical applications. It is ideal for a wide range of uses, including penetration testing, security audits, and as an educational tool for understanding digital vulnerabilities and defenses. And then we have the next tool, that is Wireshark. So network protocol analysis powerhouse. It is called as that. So Wireshark is the premier tool for network protocol analysis, crucial for network troubleshooting, protocol development, and educational purposes. It enables users to capture and analyze live network data or work with data captured previously. So it offers a user-friendly, free-pane packet browser for viewing network traffic in real time. Wireshark's capabilities include detailed inspection of hundreds of protocols, live capture, and offline analysis. And if we talk about its versatility and accessibility, it is suitable for various levels of expertise, from network professionals to novices. It provides a comprehensive set of tools like VoIP analysis, which are invaluable for diagnosing network issues and understanding complex network behavior. And if we talk about its widespread application and use cases, it is widely used in cybersecurity for detecting network anomalies, intrusion detection, and network forensic analysis. Its ability to analyze data from different sources makes it a universal tool for network diagnostics and cybersecurity research. So this was about the second tool, that was Wireshark. Now coming on the list is Nmap, Network Mapper. So it's the premier network discovery tool. Nmap is renowned for its effectiveness in network discovery and security auditing. It excels in scanning networks to identify devices and services, making it indispensable for cybersecurity professionals. And we talk about its versatility scanning features. It offers a variety of scanning options, including host discovery, port scanning, and version detection. Nmap's ability to adapt its scanning technique based on network conditions and configurations makes it a powerful and flexible tool. Now we talk about its scriptable and customizable nature. It features a scripting engine, Nmap scripting engine, NSE, that allows users to write custom scripts for a wide range of network tasks. And this makes Nmap not just a scanning tool, but a robust network analysis framework. And it is widely used and community supported. So widely adopted by network administrators, security auditors, and penetration testers. Nmap benefits from a strong community with regular updates and a vast library of scripts contributed by users around the world. And if we talk about the basic command for this tool, that is Nmap, that is you could run nmap -v -a target _IP. And now coming to the next tool, that is Burpsuit. So all-in-one web security testing tool. So Burpsuit offers a full range of tools for comprehensive web application security testing. It's known for its capability to intercept, inspect, and modify network traffic, making it indispensable for analyzing and securing web applications. And if we talk about its features or the interactive and automated testing features, it includes both manual and automated scanning options. Its user-friendly interface allows for interactive testing and detailed analysis, while the automated scanner efficiently identifies vulnerabilities. And then we have the extensive toolset for deep analysis. So it features an array of tools like a repetitor for manual request modification, an intruder for automated attack simulations, and a decoder for data analysis. This makes it versatile for different types of cybersecurity assessments. And then we have the community and professional versions. So it is available in both a freely community version and a paid professional version, catering to a wide range of users from hobbyist to professional security analysts. So the professional version offers advanced features for more in-depth analysis. And if we talk about the basic commands, so Burp Suite primarily uses a GUI that start by configuring your browser to use Burp as its proxy, then navigate to the site you want to test. So this is about the Burp Suite. Now coming on the list is number 5, AirCrack-NG. So Wi-Fi network security tool, and it is mostly renowned for that purpose only. So AirCrack-NG is a suite of software tools specifically designed for auditing and securing Wi-Fi networks. It's recognized for its effectiveness in testing network security, monitoring Wi-Fi traffic, and cracking encryption keys. Now talking about its wide range of capabilities, the toolkit includes functionalities for monitoring packet capture, attacking fake access points, deauthentication testing, that is WEP, and WPA2 cracking, and other network analysis tasks. And now talking about its user-friendly and versatile nature. Although it is command line based, AirCrack-NG is known for its straightforward interface, making it accessible for both beginners and experts. And it's compatible with various operating systems and wireless adapters. And now talking about its practical usage and ethical hacking. So primarily used for network security assessments, AirCrack-NG is a go-to tool for ethical hackers and cybersecurity professionals for diagnosing and strengthening Wi-Fi security protocols. And if we talk about its basic command to start monitoring Wi-Fi networks. So the command is airmon, AIRMON -NG space start space WLANO or 0. And that's, you could run the command. That's the basic command for that. And the next on the list is John the Ripper. That is the premier password cracking tool. So John the Ripper is renowned for its efficiency in password cracking. Originally designed for Unix system, it now supports multiple platforms and is a go-to tool for cracking complex passwords. And its versatile hash support and attack modes. So it's capable of handling a wide array of hash types. It offers various attack modes like dictionary, brute force, and hybrid attacks, making it highly adaptable for different cracking scenarios. And then we have customization and community support. Known for its customizable nature, allowing users to tailor attacks as per their requirements. It benefits from a strong community providing frequent updates and additional functionality through plugins. And then we have the application in security auditing. Beyond password recovery, John the Ripper is an essential tool for cybersecurity professionals to conduct password strength audits and enforce robust password policies in organizational networks. And if we talk about its basic command to crack password hashes, that is John space -- word list equal to path _2 word list, and the sum #hashes dot txt, that is a file name. So this is the file name that will use to conduct a password checking. So this was about the John the Ripper. So the next on the list is Hydra, THC Hydra. It's a rabbit network login cracker. Hydra, often referred to as THC Hydra, is celebrated for its speed and efficiency in cracking network authentication credentials. It supports numerous protocols including FTP, HTTPS, SMTP, SSH, and more, making it incredibly versatile for various penetration testing scenarios. And its parallelized attacks for efficiency. It's one of the Hydra's key features, that is its ability to perform rapid password guessing by parallelizing attempts across multiple threads or even across different IP addresses, significantly reducing the time required to find successful credentials. So extensive protocol support and flexibility. So Hydra's extensive support for various protocols, coupled with its ability to be scripted and integrated into custom workflows, making it a favorite among penetration testers for automated and targeted brute force attacks. And then we have the practical applications in penetration testing that is used by security analysts to test the strength of passwords on network services and identify potential vulnerabilities that could be exploited by malicious actors. It's a critical tool for ensuring the authentication mechanisms are robust and secure. And the basic command for this is, that is for the Hydra or THC Hydra, is to perform a brute force attack on an FTP server. That is bash copy code hydra -i user -p /path /2 /wordlist.txt ftp / that the port number. Now moving to the next on the list is, that is Z-Attack Proxy, OWASP ZAP. So Web Application Security Scanner. OWASP ZAP is an open source tool primarily used for finding vulnerabilities in web applications. It is well regarded for its effectiveness in automated and manual testing or the security testing. And if we talk about its comprehensive testing features, it offers a range of functionalities including automated scanners, spidering, and AJAX crawling, and its ability to intercept and modify HTTP or HTTPS requests and responses allows for thorough testing of web apps. Now talking about user-friendly and customizable nature. So ZAP provides a user-friendly interface suitable for those new to application security, as well as advanced options for experienced testers. It supports a wide range of scripts and add-ons, making it highly customizable. And then we have community supported and dynamic nature. As a part of OWASP project, ZAP benefits from a vibrant community, receiving regular updates and improvements. It is a tool of choice for both learning and professional application security testing. And then we have Hashcat on the list, that is unrivaled password recovery tool. Hashcat is recognized as the world's fastest and most advanced password recovery utility. It's specifically designed for recovering lost or forgotten passwords, offering unparalleled efficiency and speed. And talking about its wide compatibility and versatility, it supports a vast array of hash types and encryption algorithms. Its flexibility makes it suitable for various scenarios, from simple password recovery to complex cryptographic analysis. And then we have the advanced attack modes or the multiple attack modes. So it features multiple attack modes including brute force, dictionary, and hybrid attacks. So this versatility enables Hashcat to adapt to virtually any password cracking environment or the requirement, making it a go-to solution for security professionals. And about its user accessibility and community support, despite its advanced capabilities, Hashcat is accessible to users of varying skill levels. It benefits from a strong community backing, ensuring regular updates and a rich source of shared knowledge and strategies. And then we have Ghidra on the list, that is NSA developed software reverse engineering suite. So Ghidra, developed by the National Security Agency, NSA, is a powerful suite of software reverse engineering tools. It's designed for analyzing malicious code and malware, enhancing cybersecurity defenses, and its rich feature set for in-depth analysis. It offers a broad range of features for disassembly, assembly, decompilation, graphing, and scripting. These tools assist in understanding complex software and detecting potential vulnerabilities. And it's open source and community supported. As an open source tool, Ghidra benefits from community contributions, which constantly enrich its capabilities. Its openness allows for widespread use and adoption in various security contexts, and its versatile application and educational value. It's widely used for malware analysis, vulnerability research, and understanding proprietary software. Ghidra is also an excellent educational tool for those looking to delve into the intricacies of reverse engineering. We have the malware analysis, and that too we have talked about.
The increasing adoption of cloud computing solutions will offer robust opportunities for both the market of the forecast period and allow introduction of newer technologies. The use of cloud computing solutions is quickly growing worldwide, owing to the lower cost of cloud-based services and the lack of the need to set up separate IT infrastructure. The penetration testing market is predicted to also grow in the near future due to the increasing use of cloud-based solutions and services for multiple workloads, be it email, data backups, CRM, and collaborative services. Cloud deployment exposes software to more vulnerability and makes it more accessible to unauthorized users. This is where penetration testing for security testing comes in. With handheld devices seeming to be the primary device of choice for the future, one such framework that facilitates this service is the offensive security-backed Kali NetHunter. So let's take a look at the topics to be covered in today's video on Kali NetHunter. We start with a small introduction to what Kali NetHunter is, followed by going through the different versions of Kali NetHunter. We then learn about the different components in the Kali NetHunter framework and some of the most helpful attacks or features that are featured in this distribution. Finally, we take a look at the pros and cons of Kali NetHunter as a whole. Before we get started with the video, be sure to subscribe to our channel for more videos like this and hit the bell icon to never miss an update again. So let's get started with what is Kali NetHunter. Kali NetHunter is the very first Android penetration testing framework for Android smartphones. Because NetHunter is an open source project, developers can freely utilize it without fearing copyright infringements or other threats. The project grants access to the Kali toolkit to compatible Android devices, which allows penetration testing. Furthermore, NetHunter provides several unique capabilities unavailable on other hardware platforms. A userland refers to space outside of an operating system kernel, meaning anything that doesn't have root access. We can use an app to systems supported on Nexus or OnePlus and rooted Android phones. While this is pretty incredible, there are some limitations to this. In general, you can communicate with the instance of whatever Linux device you want via SSH or VNC using Kali NetHunter. The best device for hackers is an Android phone installed by Kali Linux because mobile phones are more convenient and portable than laptops for personal purposes. The NetHunter interface also allows users to work easily with complicated configuration files through a local web Apache interface. Aside from this functionality, modified kernels that handle 802.11 wireless injections and securely link pre-configured VPN services comprise a strong network security breakthrough and a separate Dropbox with Kali Linux constantly at your disposal. We now have a basic understanding of what Kali Linux NetHunter is. However, there isn't a single distribution to learn about here. Kali Linux NetHunter has multiple different versions depending on the device at the hands of the users. Let's cover them in more detail. While Kali NetHunter functions as a portable operating system designed for penetration testing, there can be other tools you want that isn't pre-installed. To solve this problem, there is a NetHunter store at the address store.nethunter.com. This functions the same as a Google Play Store on Android or app stores on iPhones. Except the difference is that the tools in this repository are more in line with ethical hacking and network penetration. The first of the three versions that NetHunter provides is the NetHunter rootless. This works on almost all devices without any issues. The number of tools available in this version is the lowest among the three. We then have NetHunter Lite, which requires root privileges to work properly. It doesn't need any custom kernel flashing to power up and has comparatively more tools than NetHunter rootless. Finally, we have the original NetHunter package with all the tools available at its disposal. However, your device must have root privileges and the custom NetHunter kernel to install this version. As we can clearly see, the more open our device settings and preferences are, the more tools Kali NetHunter can work with. Root privileges provide administrative access to many functionalities that NetHunter can leverage and ultimately perform network penetration with. Some tools are exclusive to the original NetHunter core and NetHunter Lite, so you may have to cross-check your requirements before installing any version on your device. Now that we have covered the different versions of Kali NetHunter, let us cover its different components and how they help in the working of this distribution. We look at the various NetHunter components, which are effectively the building pieces of NetHunter's operation. NetHunter's ROM comprises of various pieces that communicate and rely on one another to function properly. Below, you will look at the three components that comprise NetHunter. The first is a modified Android kernel, followed by NetHunter Android app, and finally but not least, the Kali Linux chroot itself. Let's examine these in depth. The program that provides a UI to simplify the user's tasks is a graphical component of NetHunter, which is its Android app. The software provides a straightforward interface for controlling the Kali Linux chroot. The fact that it has a simple UI does not imply that it is not capable of performing complex tasks. This application contains all the configuration files necessary by NetHunter and is transferred to the SD card during the first run. Aside from the UI, the program also serves as a boot up service, allowing the server to activate when the device boots up. The next in line is the custom Android kernel. The kernel is a system component that allows applications to link to hardware that meet users' needs. Aside from facilitating communication, the kernel also maintains system resources. Now, the default kernels inside Android do not supply at all utilities for security and exploitation. Still, with a custom Android kernel, any device can be empowered with unique features which are not accessible in the stock ones. Now we have the Kali chroot. Chroot is essentially a full Kali Linux installation that allows Android to share network, storage, and other resources. The Kali Linux chroot is effectively the heart of NetHunter, and the configuration settings have been updated so that NetHunter functions seamlessly with the Android ecosystem. NetHunter has a chroot manager that simplifies the download and installation of chroot. This component is stored in an internal app storage region, and one must meet the installation space requirements. Now that you have covered the different components of Kali NetHunter, let us cover some of the tools that the distribution offers that may be used in penetration testing. At the top of the chain lies Nmap. Nmap stands for Network Mapper and is a free and open source utility for network discovery and security auditing. Many systems and network administrators who also find it useful for tasks such as network inventory, managing service upgrade schedules, and monitoring host or service uptime. It is most beneficial in the early stage of exploitation, where a hacker must figure out the possible entry point to a system before running the necessary exploits. It uses raw IP packets in novel ways to determine what hosts are available on the network, what services are being run, what hosts are offering, etc. It was designed to scan large networks, but it also works fine against single hosts. Moving on, we have the MITM framework. MITM or Man-in-the-Mug framework provides a one-stop shop for man-in-the-middle and network attacks while updating and improving existing attacks and techniques. Originally built to address the significant shortcomings of other tools, it's been almost completely rewritten from scratch to provide a modular and easily extendable framework that anyone can use to implement their own version of a man-in-the-middle attack. It contains built-in SMB, HTTP, and DNS servers that can be controlled and used by various plugins. The next tool at hand is the KEX Manager. It stands for the Kali Desktop Experience. Kali NetHunter Desktop Experience puts the Kali Linux desktop in the palm of your hand. It provides the graphical user interface or GUI of Kali Desktop on your Android device, making penetration relatively easier for people not comfortable with the command line. However, the major tools all include command line functions, so this is more of a convenience inclusion rather than a functional one. Finally, we have Metasploit. The Metasploit framework is a very powerful tool that can be used by cyber criminals as well as ethical hackers to probe systemic vulnerabilities on networks and servers. Because it's an open source framework, it can be easily customized and used with most operating systems. With Metasploit, the ethical hacking team can use ready-made or custom code and introduce it into a network to probe for weaker spots. As another flavor of threat hunting, once the flaws are identified and documented, the information can be used to address systemic weaknesses and prioritize solutions. We now have a very clear understanding of what Kali NetHunter is and its features. Let's cover some of the pros and cons of this particular framework. When it comes to the advantages, NetHunter provides features that are not by default included in the original kernels of Android phones. The new tools can be used to perform network penetration and system checks for security vulnerabilities. Qualcomm checks and Snapdragon have monitor support enabled. Monitor mode helps listen to wireless traffic and capture data packets, which can then be unencrypted and snooped on. The kernel builder's presence assists the easy creation of kernels that are not yet available to the public. Similarly, the use of GitLab CLI or command line interface speeds up the release timelines. It allows the input of other developers, making the bug squashing process easier and the development of the tools more collaborative. The human interface device hardware is fully supported by default, but it must be enabled and configured through user space controls. So when it comes to the disadvantages of Kali NetHunter, so not every Android phone is supported as part of the official NetHunter release. Therefore, be cautious while downloading and running them, since the wrong NetHunter may break the phone in some very rare circumstances. Because some internal Wi-Fi systems do not allow monitor mode or data packet injection, An external USB Wi-Fi adapter may be required for some devices who want to pursue wireless network penetration.
Professionals in security testing, penetration testing, and ethical hacking utilize Linux as their preferred operating system. Provide several configurable distributions that you may configure based on your end use. Kali Linux and Parrot OS are two popular penetration testing distributions. While these operating systems each have unique offerings, the overall choice can differ between personnel thanks to their various tools and hardware specifications. Today we will look at both these distributions and settle on the perfect choice for each type of user. Let's go through the agenda for this video. We will learn about Kali Linux and Parrot Security OS from scratch, while understanding their primary selling points as a Linux distribution catered towards penetration testers. Next, we know about some features of these operating systems that stand out of their package. Finally, we directly compare Kali Linux and Parrot Security OS, thereby making a clear-cut conclusion on which OS is perfect on a per-requirement basis. So let's start by learning about Kali Linux from a ground level. Kali Linux, which is formerly known as Backtrack Linux, is an open source Linux distribution aimed at advanced penetration testing and security auditing. It contains several hundred tools targeted towards various information security tasks such as penetration testing, security research, computer forensics, and reverse engineering. Kali Linux is a multi-platform solution, accessible and freely available to information security professionals and hobbyists. Among all the Linux distributions, Kali Linux takes its roots from the Debian operating system. Debian has been a highly dependable and a stable distribution for many years, providing a similarly strong foundation to the Kali Linux desktop. While the operating system can practically modify every single part of our installation, the networking components of Kali Linux come disabled by default. This is done to prevent any external factors from affecting the installation procedure, which may pose a risk in critical environments. Apart from boosting security, it allows a more profound element of security control to the most enthusiastic of users. Now, let's take a look at Parrot Security Operating System. Parrot Security OS is a Debian-based Linux distribution with an emphasis on security, privacy, and development. It is built on the Debian's testing branch and uses a custom-hardened Linux kernel. Parrot Security contains several hundred tools targeted towards tasks such as penetration testing, computer forensics, reverse engineering, and security research. It is seen as a generally lightweight distribution that can work under rigorous hardware and software specifications. It features a distinct forensics mode that does not mount any of the system's hard disks or partitions and has no influence on the host system, making it much more stealthy than its regular occurrence. This mode is used on the host system to execute forensic procedures. A rolling release is a paradigm in which software upgrades are rolled out constantly rather than in batches of versions in software development. This ensures that the software is constantly up to date. A rolling release distribution such as Parrot Security OS follows the same concept. It provides the most recent Linux kernel and software versions as soon as they become available. With a basic introduction to the operating systems out of the way, let us take a look at the unique features of both Kali Linux and Parrot Security OS. The latest version of Kali Linux comes with more than 600 penetration tools pre-installed. After reviewing every tool included in Backtrack, developers have eliminated a significant number of tools that either simply did not work or duplicated other tools that provided the same and similar functionality. The Kali Linux team comprises a small group of individuals who are the only ones trusted to commit packages and interact with the repositories, all of which is done using multiple secure protocols. Restricting access of critical code bases to external assets dramatically reduces the risk of source contamination, which can cause Kali Linux users worldwide a great deal of damage as a direct victim of cybercrime. Although penetration tools tend to be written in English, the developers have ensured that Kali includes proper multilingual support, allowing more users to operate in the native language and locate the tools they need for their job. The more comfortable a user feels with the intricacies of the operating system, the easier it is to maintain a strong hold over the configuration and the device in general. Since ARM-based single-board systems like the Raspberry Pi are becoming more prevalent and inexpensive, the development team knew that Kali's ARM support would need to be as robust as they could manage with fully working installations. Kali Linux is available on a wide range of ARM devices and has ARM repositories integrated with the mainline distribution, so the tools for ARM are updated in conjunction with the rest of the distribution. Let's take a look at some of the features of Parrot Security operating system now. Along with a giant catalog of scripts, Parrot Security OS has its own hardened Linux kernel modified explicitly to provide as much security and resistance to hackers as possible in the first line of defense. The configurations in the operating system act as the second gateway, taking care of malicious requests and dropping them off. This is particularly beneficial since should there be a scenario where the latest Linux kernel is causing some particular issue, the Parrot OS development team will most likely iron it out first before passing it on as an update. If the custom hardened kernel wasn't reason enough, Parrot Security developers managed to install more hacking tools and scripts to ensure a smooth transition for the Kali Linux users. All the tools you find in Kali are present in Parrot OS and a few extra ones for good measure. And this has been achieved while keeping roughly the same operating system size between both of them. However, it's not all productivity points for Parrot OS. They provide a choice between two different desktop environments, Mate, which comes pre-installed by default, and KDE. For those unfamiliar with Linux terminology, you can think of desktop environments as the main UI for a distribution. Being highly modular in nature, one can use Parrot Security OS while adding another desktop environment that they find appealing. While Kali Linux has only a single option, Parrot Security has provided two optimized builds with Mate Desktop and KDE Desktop. One of the primary advantages of Parrot OS over Kali Linux is that it's relatively lightweight. This implies that it takes significantly less disk space and computing power to function correctly, with as little as 320 MB of RAM required. In reality, Parrot OS is designed to operate successfully off a USB stick, but Kali Linux does not work well from a USB drive and is generally installed in a virtual machine. Parrot OS is more of a niche distribution if you're searching for something lighter than Kali Linux. Features are great, but what about performance? Real-world metrics. Let us compare both these operating systems directly with respect to their hardware specifications and usability. In the end, we can decide on what distribution is fit for each type of user. For our first point of comparison, let's take a look at the RAM required. For optimum performance of the operating system, which is highly essential when trying to crack hashes or something of similar nature, RAM usage is a very important facet. While Kali Linux demands at least 1 GB of RAM, Parrot Security can operate optimally with a minimum of 320 MB of RAM. For correctly displaying graphical elements, Kali Linux requires GPU-based acceleration, while this is not the case with Parrot Security OS, which doesn't require any graphical acceleration needed from the user side. Once these operating systems are installed on VMware using their live boot ISOs, they take up a minimum amount of hard disk storage. Both of these operating systems have a recommended disk storage of minimum of 20 GB in Kali Linux and a minimum of 15 GB in Parrot Security, so they can install all the tools necessary in the ISO file. When it comes to the category and the selection of tools, Kali Linux has always been the first in securing every single tool available for hackers in the penetration testing industry. Parrot Security, on the other hand, has managed to take it up a notch. While specializing in wireless pen testing, Parrot Security makes it a point that all the tools that Kali Linux provides has been included in the ISO, while simultaneously adding some extra tools that many users will have to install from third-party sources in Kali Linux. Being a decade-old penetration testing distribution, Kali Linux has formed up a very big community with strong support signature. Parrot security, on the other hand, is still growing, and it is garnering much more interest among veteran penetration testers and ethical hackers. A primary drawback of Kali Linux is the extensive hardware requirement. To perform optimally, it requires higher memory than Parrot security. It also needs graphical acceleration while demanding more virtual hard disk storage. Parrot security, on the other hand, was initially designed to run off a USB drive directly, thereby requiring very minimal requirements from a hardware perspective, like just 320 MB of RAM and no graphical acceleration needed. This means Parrot security is much more feasible for people who are not able to devote massive resources to either their virtual machine or on their laptop hard disk directly. With the comparison done between both of these operating systems, let's take a look at the type of users both of these are catered to. One can go with Kali Linux if they want the extensive community support offered by its users, if they want to go with a trusted development team that have been working on this distribution since many years, if they have a powerful system which can run Kali Linux optimally without having to bottleneck performance, and if they are comfortable with a semi-professional environment which may or may not be very useful for new beginners. One can decide to go with Parrot security if they want to go with a very lightweight and lean distribution that can run pretty much on all systems. It also has a lot of tools pre-installed, and some of them are not even present on Kali Linux. It is much more suitable for underpowered rigs where users do not have a lot of hardware resources to provide to the operating system, and thereby it is much more feasible for people with underpowered laptops or no graphical acceleration. Compared to Kali Linux, Parrot Security's desktop environment is also relatively easier to use for new beginners. For people who are just getting into ethical hacking, Parrot Security does a relatively better job of introducing them to the operating system and to the various tools without having to dump them into the entire intricacies.
If you are a Linux developer or you are preparing for a Linux developer role, so this video is for you. Hello everyone and welcome back to another video by Simplilearn. This is Anubhav, and in this video we will be learning about Linux interview questions. But before we begin, if you haven't subscribed to our channel already, make sure to hit the subscribe button and press the bell icon so you will never miss any update from Simplilearn. So without further ado, let's begin and see what's in it for you. First, we will see the introduction to Linux. After that, we will see trends and recent changes in Linux commands. Moving ahead, we will see how to become a Linux developer. After that, we will see the opportunities and salaries of Linux developers. And after that, we will see Linux command interview questions. Linux platform gives its open source natures has integrated a wide range of innovation minds who have given their best to introduce world-changing ideas into reality. Linux is basically an operating system which is popular for its efficiency as well as its performance. It can run on various hardware platforms manufactured by IBM, Intel and HP. Now, let's see some trends and recent changes in Linux commands. Linux is supercomputing. The development and deployment of Linux-powered supercomputers is a trend that shows no signs of abating given the flexibility structure of the Linux system as well as the compatibilities it has. The usage of Linux as a supercomputer operating system is guaranteed to remain one of the most important Linux trends in 2022. Let's see the next point, new Linux-based hardware. The Linux platform has gained a repulsion since Raspberry Pi and Chromebooks gained the attention of the particular domain of viewers. These Linux-based components are breaking new grounds as the new pass. Thanks to their small form size and ability to perform routine tasks with ease, The platform has now witnessed advanced implementations throughout the prior calendar year. Now, the next point we will be discussing is the cloud and the Linux. Although Linux is popular in the technological community, it is going to continue to increase in popularity in line with the open-minded techniques of 2022. As cloud-based technologies and the Linux system are so interconnected, the Linux system is expected to grow with the cloud-based alternative. Now, let's see the next point, which is Chromebooks and Chrome OS. Chrome OS has transformed into the most flexible operating system available in the market. Chrome OS just obtained the ability to connect with Google Play Store and run just about any Android app, giving user one of the most trained WebSocket experience possible. Taking into consideration the improvements on the operating system, it is too soon going to be on a quick survey towards possibilities becoming the most flexible platform compatible on running Android and Linux softwares. Now, let's see how to become a Linux developer. Let us take a look at the required skills needed to make a career as a Linux developer. First one is learn C programming. The first and the foremost thing which is needed is learn C programming. Most of the part of Linux are written in C. If you want to contribute low-level parts of the system, you should know the assembly language as well. However, intentionally, it is important to learn the C language. Next step is to learn algorithms and data structure. To become a Linux developer, you should have a fundamental knowledge of data structure and algorithms, and algorithm is basically a step-by-step approach to solve a particular problem. On the other hand, data structure works on organization's data. Both these components help the programmers to solve the problem within a minute. The next step you should learn is operating system. Now that you have acquired some knowledge of the programming, the next thing on your to-do list should be learn everything about the operating system. And then do some programming. Competitive programming can help you master algorithms and data structures. It also shows you how to solve a program in a short period of time. A competitive programmer must be able to solve an issue in a short amount of time. Now, let's see the opportunities and salaries of Linux programmers. When it comes to Linux professionals, you have two choices. You can either work towards becoming a developer or you can go into administration. Furthermore, the professional options are not limited to Linux platform. They encompass the wide range of applications. The following are the areas where hiring managers are looking for hiring Linux developers. First one is system architecture. Linux system architecture salary in India ranges between 6.3 lakhs to 44 lakhs with an average annual salary of 21.1 lakhs. The next one is system administration. The average salary of a system administration in India ranges between rupees 2.4 lakh per annum to rupees 4.5 lakh per annum. The next one is web developer and development. Linux developer average annual salary in India ranges from rupees 3 lakh to 8.9 lakhs. And for desktop and app development, average starting salary for Linux developer and app developer is in India is rupees 3 lakh per year. Now, we'll move ahead with the Linux command interview questions. The first question that we will discuss is what is Linux? Linux is a Unix-based open source operating system. Linus Torvalds was the first to introduce Linux. The primary goal of Linux was to give a free and low-cost operating system for people who couldn't buy Windows, iOS or Unix. Now, the next question is, define Linux kernel. Is it legal to edit Linux kernel? The answer is, the Linux kernel is a low-level software system. It is used to keep track of resources and give a user interface. Yes, it is legal to edit Linux kernel. Linux is released under the General Public License, which is GPL, and any project which is released under GPL can be edited and modified by the end users. Let's move on to the next question, which is, what is LILO? LILO denotes Linux loader. It is basically Linux bootloader which loads Linux operating system into a main memory to start execution. Most of the computer systems are featured with bootloaders for certain versions for Mac OS or Windows OS. So, if you want to use Linux OS, you have to install a special bootloader for it. When a computer gets started, BIOS conducts small initial test and transfer control to the master bootloader. From here, LILO loads the Linux OS and start it. The benefit of utilizing LILO is that it ensures a quick boot of the Linux operating system. Moving ahead, let's move on to the next question, which is, what are the basic components of Linux? The following are the basic components of Linux. First one is shell. It is a Linux interpreter which is used for executing commands. The next one is kernel. Kernel is the core part of the operating system which is used to manage hardware and operations. After that, the next one is system utilities. These are the software functions which help users to manage their computers. The next one is GUI. GUI denotes graphical user interface through which the user can interact with the system. But unlike CLI, GUI compresses buttons, images, and text boxes for interaction. The next one is application programs. Software programs are designed to complete a particular task. Now, the next question is, which shell are used in Linux? The following are the most common types of shell used in Linux. The first one is Fish. Friendly interactive shell offers some special features such as web-based configuration, fully scriptable, and auto-suggestions with clean scripts. The next one is Bash. Boring again shell is the default for most of the Linux distributions. The next one is ZSH. Z shell offers unique features like startup files, file name generation, login or logout watching, and closing comments. The next one is CHS. C shell follows C-like syntax and has features like spelling correction as well as job control. Now, let's move on to the next question. What is swap space? Swap space is the extra space utilized by Linux to temporarily keep concurrently running processes when RAM space is sufficient. When you start a program, it is stored in RAM so that the CPU can quickly retrieve data. If you have more running programs, then RAM can accommodate. The swap space is used to store these programs. The processor will now search for the RAM and swap space for data. Swap space is used in the form of execution of RAM by Unix. Let's move on to the next question, which is differentiate between DOS and Bash. Bash is a command which is case sensitive and DOS commands are not case sensitive. In Bash, there are 8 characters for file name postfixed with 3 characters for the extension, and in DOS, no naming conventions are used. Again, Bash is used as an escape character and DOS is used in the form of directory spatter. Now, let's move on to the next question, which is, what is file permission in Linux? The following are the 3 types of permission in Linux. First one is the read. It allows its user to open and read the file. The next one is write. It allows its user to open and edit the file. And the third and the last one is execute. It allows its user to run the file. The next question is, what are inode and process ID? Inode is a unique name provided by the operating system for each file. Similarly, Process ID is also a unique ID provided to each process. What are Linux directory commands? Given below are the 5 main directory commands in Linux. The first one is pwd. It displays the path of the present working directory. The next one is. List all the directories and files in the present working directory. cd. It is used for changing the present working directory. rmdir. It deletes a directory. And mkdir. It is used to create a new directory. mkdir is also known as make directory. Now, let's move on to the next question. What are the various processes states in Linux? Given below are the process states of Linux. The first one denotes ready. The process is ready to run. The second one running is the process has been executed. The third one is wait or blocked. This shows the process is waiting for the input. After that, it's completed or terminated. This process shows the process is completed execution or was terminated by the system. The last one is zombie. The process terminated by the information is still available in the process table. Let's move on to the next question. What are process management system calls? The following are the system calls used to manage the process. The first function is fork function. It is used for creating a new process. The next is a exec function, which is used for executing a new program. The third one is a wait function. Wait until the process completes the execution. After that, it's exit function. It is used to exit from the process. After that, it's getPID function. Get the unique process ID of the process. And the last one is getPPID function, gets the parent process unique ID. Let's move on to the next question. What are the redirection operators? The redirection operator is used for redirecting the output of the specific command as an input to another command. The following are the two ways to use this. The first one is this symbol, which is overwrites the file's existing content or creates a new one. The second one is this symbol, which shows the add the new content to the end of an existing file or create a new one. Let's move on to the next question, which is explain a latch. A latch is a temporary storage of device that is controlled by a training signal, which can be either stored as 0 or 1. A latch is primarily used to retain state information and has two stable states, high output or 1 or low output or 0. As long as a latch is powered on, it can store one piece of data. The next question is, what is microprocessor? A microprocessor is a device which is used for execution instructions. It is a single chip device that fetches the instructions from the memory, decodes it, and executes it. The following are the three basic functions which are carried out by a microprocessor. The first one is addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division are example of mathematical operations. The next one is make decision based on the circumstances and then jump to the new different instructions as needed. Last one is move data from one position in memory to another. Now, let's move on to the next question. How to rename files in Linux? There is no such particular command for renaming a file in Linux. However, you can use the copy or move command to renew a file. The first command which we use is move command. We write it like $, MV, which denotes as move, old name, and then the new name of the file. Like this only, we will write a copy command. In that, there will be a $CP means copy, old name of the file, and then the new name of the file. Like that only, if we want to delete a command, we'll write $RM, which denotes as remove, and the file name. Let's move on to the next question. How to write the output of a command to a file? You have to use the redirection operator. To do this, write $, the command which you want to use, and the greater sign, and then the file name. The next question is how to copy files to a floppy disk. The following steps will guide you to copy file to a floppy disk. The first one is mount to floppy disk. The second one is copy the files. And the last one is unmount the floppy disk. Let's move on to the next question. How should we identify which shell you are using? Open the terminal and run $ECHO, which is echo, and then again $, and shell all in capital. Let's move on to the last and final question for this interview question series. How would you sort the entities in a text file in ascending order? You can do this by using the sort command. For this, you have to write the $sort sample.txt. Sample.txt is the file name that I am using here. You can use the name of your file which you want to do ascending order operation.
Staying ahead in your career requires continuous learning and upskilling. Whether you're a student aiming to learn today's top skills or a working professional looking to advance your career, we've got you covered. Explore our impressive catalog of certification programs in cutting-edge domains, including data science, cloud computing, cybersecurity, AI, machine learning, or digital marketing. Designed in collaboration with leading universities and top corporations, and delivered by industry experts, choose any of our programs and set yourself on the path to career success. Click the link in the description to know more.
Hi there, if you like this video, subscribe to the Simplilearn YouTube channel and click here to watch similar videos. To nerd up and get certified, click here. YouTube channel and click here to watch similar videos. To nerd up and get certified, click here.